ground this evening. We've just had a good old Millwall sing-song. Hey Jude now being blasted out around the ground. Mark Schwarzer, it's noisy, it's raucous, it's joyous, it's in your face, it's very much up for the cup, and you know it's going to be uncomfortable for Everton here this evening.
It certainly will be, and you add to the mix a bit of rain that's falling now as well. The pitch is going to be nice and slippery, going to have some proper zip on it, and you know what, if Everton are not for it, they're in for a really difficult night.
Yeah, Everton not in the best form in the Premier League at the moment. 3 wins in their last 11 games in all competitions. Millwall down at the wrong end of the Championship, but in terms of FA Cup form recently at home, they have been very, very good. I think lots of people will remember that famous run as a League One club to the quarterfinals 2 years ago. Bournemouth were beaten here, Watford were beaten here, Leicester under Claudio Ranieri with a 3rd Premier League scalp to be taken here that season. The run eventually ended at the hands of Tottenham at White Hart Lane, but they are unbeaten in their last 8 FA Cup ties at home. They've won 4 of their last 6 games in all competitions, so they have found a little bit of form since Boxing Day. And as I say, as you can hear, they are definitely up for it at the Den this evening. We're under the lights. We've got light rain falling. We're going to see plenty of trains rattling behind that Dockers stand opposite us. We're sitting high up above the halfway line. The Millwall fans making a lot of noise, and an FA Cup 4th round tie, the 3rd full commentary of the day, about to get underway, does get underway here on BBC Radio 5 Live. 7 teams already definitely through to the 5th round. 3 from the Premier League, 3 from the Championship, and Doncaster from League One. Will it be Millwall or will it be Everton from this particular tie this evening? Early crossing from Lee Gregory, good ball, caught cleanly by England's goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. He's all in green. Marco Silva, Mark Schwarzer, has picked a strong team tonight, just 2 changes. They're safe in the Premier League, that's the right call, surely.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is their best opportunity of winning any sort of silverware, and they'll have to go for it. I think, you know, it's a fixture where you'll be looking and going, you know what, it is a tricky game. We have to be mentally up for it. We have to pick a strong side, and you know what, this is our opportunity. Let's go for it.
Everton in change kit this evening. White shirts, dark blue shorts, white trim at the bottom and white socks, playing from left to right in this first half, away from their travelling support, about 2,000 or so in the top tier of the away end to our left-hand side. Everton trying to build a move down the left. The ball is knocked out of play. Luca Digne couldn't control it, and big roars from the Millwall fans because it's out for a Millwall throw on the right-hand side. I make it they've got 8 possible first-team choices missing this evening, Millwall. Everton really only have 1 with Phil Jagielka out injured. Neil Harris has had to make 3 changes from the 1-1 draw at Middlesbrough this evening. Ben Thompson and Ben Marshall, who's recently joined on loan from Norwich, they're both cup-tied. And Jed Wallace, who's a bit of a creator for Millwall, is out with a groin injury this evening. Shane Ferguson, Ryan Tunnicliffe and Aidan O'Brien, the Republic of Ireland international, come into the Millwall team. I'll give you the 2 full lineups in a second. Everton's changes see Yerry Mina come in for Kurt Zouma at centre-back. Zuma's on the bench, as is the little Brazilian Bernard. It was decided the new Den, or the Den I should say, not really the place for him this evening, so Dominic Calvert-Lewin has come in up front. Seamus Coleman's header is straight into the body of Gregory. Idrissa Gana Gueye is clattered into by Sean Williams in midfield, and Everton get an early free kick. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Yeah,
that's what, you know, part of Millwall's tactics are going to be get in their face, don't give them time on the ball. Idrissa Gueye then got an early indication of what's lying ahead for him.
Don't dawdle. It was interesting to watch the 2 teams in the tunnel before the game as well, Mark. Very tight in there. We saw the little sign above their heads, welcome to the Lions' Den, and Millwall made Everton wait a while before they arrived. Bit of psychological warfare going on ahead of the game. Calvert-Lewin on the ball for Everton, up on the corner of the Millwall penalty area. Back to Coleman, Everton's captain, on the right-hand side. Gana Gueye, loose first touch, had to slide in to win the second ball. Did that, gets his pass away to Andre Gomes, playing in central midfield alongside Gana Gueye. Ball comes back to the halfway line. Big Yerry Mina, the Colombian, is there. Finds Gomez again. Gomez across to Michael Keane. Keane with his right foot opens things up to the right. Coleman's ball in. Calvert-Lewin leaps. Ball glances off his forehead. Doesn't even go out for the goal kick. Didn't get enough on it. And Richarlison collects down by the byline. Getting a few boos, Richarlison there. Sigurdsson back to Digne. Digne's cross in to the near post. Headed away by Hutchinson. A lot of Everton pressure here early on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sigurdsson again just prompts Digne down the left. His cross is blocked, and that's out for an Everton throw.
Yeah, it was half a chance there for Calvert-Lewin. There was a miss chance of trying to head the ball. Only, I think, clipped his shoulder. The only thing I'd say there is the Millwall defenders, they all just stood and watched him.
Yeah.
No one actually challenged him. They can't afford to do that because they have definitely got some height in that box there. Now we can see it now with the corner coming up. Mina's pushing forward. They're going to have to make sure they, at the very least, use their body, get involved, and prevent Everton from having any free headers.
This game also on BBC One television this evening. I can see our colleagues in that little portable studio in the gap between the two stands in the corner of the stadium where this throw-in's being launched from. To the near post, headed away by Ryan Tunnicliffe, one of the players to come into the Millwall team this evening. Millwall home kit, rich dark blue shirts, white numbers on the back. Another throw-in to defend, into the near post. Tunnicliffe's there again, heads it straight up in the air and behind for Everton's first corner of the game. Millwall 0, Everton 0.
Yeah, it's a good start from Everton. They need to really get on the front foot, put Millwall on a lot of pressure. You can see Millwall, they're dropping a bit deeper. They're trying to stay compact, don't get played through. Let them get the ball out wide, try and whip it in the box, and then we'll try and deal with it. But at the moment, Everton are looking, pretty dangerous.
Mina against Jake Cooper's the big battle. The two big men in the penalty area here. Mina's going to try and keep Cooper away from him. That corner comes in from the left. It's over the head of Michael Keane. He claims his shirt was pulled. Millwall are away on the break down the left-hand side. It is their left back, the Scot Murray Wallace. Crosses the halfway line, cuts in field, plays a low pass out to Ryan Leonard. Club's record signing from Sheffield United. Cross blocked by Seamus Coleman, and the referee, who's Michael Oliver this evening, was in a good position, and he says goal kick because it was into Coleman. It came back onto Leonard and behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, I think the referee got it right. It looked like a double ricochet back off the Millwall player out for a goal kick for Everton.
Goal kick Everton. I will give you these lineups in just a second. Pickford decides to float this one out to the right. Coleman chests it down. Lee Gregory closes in on Michael Keane. Takes a first touch, and Pickford has to stretch as the ball goes flying across his goal mouth. Controls it well. Plays it to Yerry Mina into the feet of Andre Gomez, and everything just calms down for a second or two. A few bare patches on this Den pitch here. Miscontrol by Luca Digne, and the ball's out for a throw-in to Millwall on the right. So Millwall have got Jordan Archer in goal. What's interesting tonight, I'll get Mark's thoughts on this in a Neil Harris will go 4-4-2. Pretty much every game, that is what Millwall do. This evening, he's gone for a 4-3-3, which is what they played successfully, it has to be said as well, in the 1-1 draw at Middlesbrough last weekend. Only denied by a late penalty they conceded there. Here's Tunnicliffe. Turns. Plays the ball back to Romeo, the right back. He's being hassled and harried by Richarlison. Plays a 1-2, closed down by Gomez. Gomez knocks him off the ball unfairly, and that is a free kick to Millwall. But that's an interesting change, isn't it, in terms of tactics, Mark?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't think it would be a 4-3-3 in traditional sense. Yes, of course, when they're attacking, they'll be getting those players forward. But in terms of when Everton have the ball, there'll be bodies behind. And we saw earlier on there, it was almost like a 4-4-2, even at times 4-5-1, because that's how they're going to get back and try and limit the space for Everton.
That is some noise from the Millwall fans. Free kick for Everton to defend. Great ball in, and Cooper heads it wide. He got a good run at that. He's about 10 yards from goal. Good chance.
There was a very good chance. The only thing, the delivery was probably not whipped in hard enough, and he actually overran the cross, and therefore the ball was almost behind them. So it became a bit of a difficult header. It should have been a straightforward one, but the timing was just slightly out.
Let's give you these teams then. Millwall 4-3-3. Jordan Archer, Scotland international, in goal. Marlon Romeo, son of Jazzy B, he of Soul to Soul fame, at right back. Murray Wallace, the Scots, at left back. Sean Hutchinson, the skipper, alongside Big J Cooper at centre back. Sean Williams, Ryan Leonard and Ryan Tunnicliffe, the midfield three. Aidan O'Brien and Shane Ferguson, who scored two wonderful goals to take Millwall through to this fourth round. They were 1-0 down at home to Hull with 10 minutes to play in the third round, Millwall, and Ferguson popped up with 2 goals. Starts tonight in support of Lee Gregory, former strike partner of Jamie Vardy at Halifax Town, now into his 5th season at Millwall, top scorer so far this season. Romeo comes sliding in to intercept Mina's pass forward and then chases that all the way down the line. It's out for an Everton throw.
Yeah, it's what Millwall need to do. They need to sit back, wait for the right opportunity. When that ball presents itself, put Everton under pressure. And at times there, Romeo was very unlucky there, almost won the interception, and actually could have been in a good position to create an attack against Everton.
We've got a Jordan in goal at either end, 1 Scot and 1 Englishman. Jordan Archer for Millwall, Jordan Pickford for Everton. Seamus Coleman's right back, Luca Digne left back, Keane and Mina, the 2 centre-backs, Andre Gomez and Idrissa Gana Gueye in front of the back 4. Lookman, who hasn't had a touch yet this evening, and how many minutes have we played? 9, it's 0-0. Richarlison on the other side, which he might prefer to playing through the middle because Calvert-Lewin has started up top this evening, and Gylfi Sigurdsson in the number 10 role with the number 10 on his back as well on that white Everton shirt, trying to make things happen. He's not going to get the ball from Gomez there. Keane to Gomez on the right hand side, back to Keane, through the middle to Sigurdsson, first time pass swept out to Coleman. Coleman's beaten Wallace on the outside, low ball in, swing of the foot by Richarlison, he completely missed the ball, and that was a chance for Everton. So this cup tie has started promisingly in terms of entertainment and in terms of chances for both teams. Interception by Mina on the halfway line. Gana Gueye didn't get enough on the ball. Cliff lets it run through to Romeo towards Williams, who very cleverly just takes 1 touch and immediately knocks it back to Jake Cooper. And then Jordan Archer, the goalkeeper, kicking into the wind, launches it high into the air, comes off the side of Gomez's head. Coleman dummies a run past the ball and plays it back to Michael Keane in defence. BBC Radio 5 live at the Den. Another FA Cup commentary on the way after this one, kicking off at 7:45. We'll take you from South East London to South West London, because that's AFC Wimbledon against West Ham. Gomez looking for Calvert-Lewin, flicks one over the top. Nothing doing for Everton. It's back with Jordan Archer, but a lively start to the cup tie. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, it's what we expect, really, wouldn't we? I mean, Millwall at home with the support, with the atmosphere, trying to stay compact at times, wait for the right opportunity to try and nick the ball somewhere on the pitch and in the right areas so that they can put Everton under a bit more pressure. And then Everton, on the other hand, you'd expect them to have more possession and try and force something.
Millwall go long, and the ball ends up in the arms of Jordan Pickford. He rolls it out to Gana Gueye. Bury 0, Lincoln 1, latest scoreline I'm hearing in League 2. Lincoln beaten by Everton in the third round at Goodison Park. Went down 2-0 early on, but the League 2 leaders leading 1-0 at Bury. Millwall have won another free kick here. Aidan O'Brien is the man brought to ground, and we know, particularly the eyes are drawn to the figure of Jake Cooper, that Millwall will be a threat from the set pieces. Yeah, they will. I mean, it was a bit of a silly free kick to give away there from Sigurdsson. He's running to the back of him and completely just pushed him over. Everton had numbers there. I mean, that's the most annoying thing when you're there on the pitch, just to give away a silly free kick in a dangerous area like that. Jake Cooper drifts into the far post area. He's standing in an offside position at the moment. He's scored 5 goals for Millwall already this season. Delivery aimed beyond him to the far post. Hutchinson back across goal, and it's headed off the line and clear for Everton. Luca Digne was the man with the crucial intervention. Good free kick. Yeah, very good free kick. Far post. Did the right thing. Got the header back into the 6-yard box. And for Everton, fortunately, they were able to clear, but it was very tight. Millwall 0, Everton 0. 12 minutes in at the Den. BBC cameras, I can see, going up close on Murray Wallace, Millwall's left back, as he takes the throw. It's headed back out towards him. This time he's going to leave it for Ryan Leonard, the 26-year-old, signed from Sheffield United, initially on loan in the summer, deal made permanent in January. Millwall's club record signing. And the ball, I think, slightly slipped from his hands into the near post. Hutchinson does get the flick, but it bounces sweetly into the arms of Jordan Pickford. And Pickford wants to release this quickly. One of those side-winding left-footed volleys, doesn't quite get it right, beyond Richarlison, and out for the throw to Millwall. Yeah, I think it's one of those nights where you have to be absolutely spot on with your distribution. Anytime you get a little bit of air underneath, the wind swirling around a bit, the rain, and it got underneath the ball and lifted it out for a throw-in. My favourite stat, which I managed to dig up on this cup tie this evening, is the fact that the two managers standing down there in the technical areas arrived on this planet on the very same day. Both were born 12th of July 1977. So little Marco Silva, born in Portugal 41 years ago, Neil Harris, born here, and they end up 41 years later standing 10 yards apart on a touchline in pouring rain.
It's remarkable, isn't it? I actually saw it on the way over in the car. I was looking at some notes and I came across it, and I couldn't believe it either. It's amazing.
That cannot happen all that often. There'll be plenty of people who share birthdays but in different years. But to have the two managers in an FA Cup tie born on the very same day, standing shoulder to shoulder, is unusual. 14 minutes played. Wind's gusting up here. We're getting a close-up on the big screen of a young Millwall fan holding his flag, desperately clinging onto it in the wind and the rain. Ball breaks loose on the halfway line. 50-50 is won by Millwall. Garner Gay goes chasing, so does Shane Ferguson. Wasn't going to give that up. Raced 40 yards across the halfway line to make the tackle. Throw in for Everton, taken quickly by Seamus Coleman. Pokes one through a little gap. Lovely 1-2 with Sigurdsson. Coleman on the way down the right-hand side. Nice pass infield here to Lookman. Lookman back to Coleman on the right. Low cross in. The ball runs loose to Calvert-Lewin. Looking for a turn here on the edge of the box. He's lost it. And Tunnicliffe is able to just play it sideways to Sean Williams. Gregory, nice touch from him. Just inside the Everton half. Outside of his right boot. He's got Aidan O'Brien in support. Gregory continues his run to the right-hand side. Gets the ball from O'Brien. Romeo lays it off to Gregory, but there's a foul in there on Garner Gay. Everton will get a free kick.
Yeah, it was brilliant from Gregory. He was able to dislodge himself from Yerry Mina and Michael Keane. He's not allowing them to pin him down, and he needs to do that all game. He's got to have to try and find space, win that ball. Whenever the ball comes out, he's got to try and get control of it and give Millwall a chance to come up and attack.
15 minutes played. The rain on the big screen actually looks worse than I think it actually is. I think the bright lights sort of emphasising, making it look like a real storm. It's persistent, but it's fairly light here. Jordan Pickford with the free kick, left-footed, drives it down the middle of the pitch. Hutchinson wins the header. Gomez nods it on to Sigurdsson, couldn't control it. Millwall have a chance to play out from inside their own half. Low pass is not long into the Everton half. Michael Keane is able to sprint across to his right and collect possession for the Premier League team. So Everton starting tonight 11th in the Premier League. Millwall down 19th in the Championship. Richarlison caught, advantage played, Calvert-Lewin released, going for the lob towards the far post, couldn't quite get it on target, and the ball is behind for a Millwall goal kick.
Yeah, the referee's just having a quiet word, I think, to Romeo there about the challenge on Richarlison, and I don't think it doesn't look like he's going to pull a card. It was slightly late, but the referee played advantage, and obviously Everton almost took advantage of it. Yeah, if we're going to go for the soul-to-soul gag, then you'd have to say he brought Richarlison back to reality there at the Den. That's the only one we're doing. I promise, too easy. Had to be done. It's out of the way. Millwall 0, Everton 0. 4 more FA Cup commentaries coming your way this weekend. Wimbledon West Ham at 7:45. We've got 2 tomorrow on 5 Live. Palace Tottenham kicks off at 4 o'clock at Selhurst Park. Jonathan Overend will be presenting from there. And Chelsea, League Cup finalist Chelsea at home to Sheffield Wednesday, kicks off at 6 o'clock, which means Chris Sutton and I are on late tomorrow with your only 6:06 of the weekend, expecting a lively FA Cup 6:06. We are on from 8 till 10 until tomorrow night. Monday night we've got full commentary of Barnet, the only non-league team left in the FA Cup this season, and they're at home to Brentford. Bury have equalised at home to the League 2 leaders Lincoln. Bury 1, Lincoln 1. Seamus Coleman backheels the ball to himself. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Plenty of you probably getting in the cars on your way back from the games may not be aware of all the FA Cup results this evening. Shrewsbury were 2-0 up on Wolves. It ended 2-2. Newport scored a late one at Middlesbrough to earn themselves a replay. That was Middlesbrough 1, Newport 1. Manchester City gave Burnley a bit of a hiding at the Etihad. That game finished 5-0. Portsmouth got a replay as well. League 1 Portsmouth 1-1 against QPR. Here's Garner Gay for Everton down the left hand side to Digne.
trying to get past Aidan O'Brien, doesn't let him through. Chance again for Richarlison, curling ball with his right foot across the 6-yard box and behind for the goal kick. Mark Schwarzer.
It was a good ball. It was a good ball into the box. And unfortunately, Everton again just stood still, watched the ball come into the box. No one made that run. No one gambled to the far post. Had he have, I think it would have been a simple tap in. But in the end, Millwall survived.
Other results today: Derby 1-0 winners at Accrington in the early kick-off. You might have heard a bit of the Accrington boss John Coleman just before kick-off. It was absolutely livid with some of the decisions. He said they made him feel physically sick. Brighton 0, West Brom 0. League One Doncaster through to the 5th round, beat Oldham with a late goal, won that one 2-1. Watford 2-0 winners at Newcastle, and Swansea 4-1 winners over Gillingham. You can watch every FA Cup goal on the BBC Sport app, website, and also on the red button across the weekend. Throw in for Everton on the right. Marco Silva hands in pockets. I think he'll be fairly content with what he's seen so far. Certainly Everton have stood up to the challenge that's been offered to them by Millwall. I saw them at Southampton last weekend. I have to say they were pretty feeble in a 2-1 defeat. They've not been good away from home this season. Everton only won twice at Leicester and Burnley, which is why you do feel there is the potential of a cup upset here. But Everton have started pretty well. They've won a throw 10 yards short of the corner flag on the right. Coleman looking for Lookman. Lookman is hassled out of possession by Ferguson. Millwall fans want a free kick for the challenge on Gregory by Keane. They're not going to get it.
Yeah, Neil Harris and his players would have made, done their homework. They would have known Everton's away form has not been great.
Coleman in space on the right with the pull back again for the 3rd time in the first half. Coleman's looked for that ball, pulled back to the penalty spot. Millwall clear this one, and it's out for the throw.
Yeah, they would think that if we can get a goal, all of a sudden that seed of doubt creeps back into Everton's mind. So you know what, Millwall got everything to play for. No pressure on them really. It's more about Everton trying to perform.
Ball for Lee Gregory to chase down the left. Millwall fans excited for a second there. They thought he might catch it. He couldn't. It was overhit. Throw into Everton on the right, which Michael Keane will leave for Seamus Coleman. Ademola Lookman getting some regular starts for Everton at the moment. The 21-year-old signed from Charlton for £10 million a couple of years ago. Had that loan spell at RB Leipzig last season, where he was playing under Ralph Hasenhüttl, now the Southampton boss. Throwing for Millwall. Below us in the Kitchener stand here, Murray Wallace just going to dry the ball on his dark blue shirt. Looking for an option here. Goes short to Leonard. Miscues a pass infield. Tunnicliffe reacted first. Goes in hard on Coleman for the 50-50. Gregory moves into position. Plays it wide to the left. Ferguson crosses. Headed away. Lookman with the bouncing ball. Gets a header on it. Nodded back to the left towards Ferguson. And Everton clear. Wallace on the turn. Floats a hopeful ball down the left-hand side. Keane jumps with Gregory. Gregory heads it infield. And Jordan Pickford collects it for the Premier League team.
Yeah, I think Michael Keane was a little bit fortunate to get away with that. His hands were up, and there was a slight shove in the back of Lee Gregory. But Everton get away with it, and it goes back to Jordan in goal, and it was Jordan Pickford in goal, and it was nice and easy for them in the end.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with your Jordans in goal here.
Absolutely, Mark, a bit confusing already.
Exactly, one either end. Lookman, bit of trickery off the ball there. Tries to dummy Wallace. He's tackled. Out for an Everton throw. Everton 5 times FA Cup winners. Last finalists in 2009, where Louis Saha scored in the first minute. They were eventually beaten 2-1 by Chelsea. Semi-finalists recently, actually, 2012 and 2016. Coleman running back with the ball for Everton. Gives it to Mina. Mina to Gomez. Gomez with his left foot looking for the run of Richarlison. Intercepted on the volley by Hutchinson. Miscue by Williams. Tunnicliffe slices a ball forward. Slightly untidy by Millwall that. Michael Keane rolls his pass to Lookman. Lookman just stops for a second. Plays it back to Coleman. They exchange passes. Coleman down the line here towards Calvert-Lewin. It's cleared to Coleman. Coleman's lost it, and he fouls Ferguson because he knew Millwall were going to be able to counter on Everton there, and he concedes the free kick.
Yeah, again, he took a little bit too much time on the ball, and again, that's what Millwall need to do. They get in their face, they put them under pressure, and Everton are made to pay in terms of giving away a free kick, an unnecessary free kick.
Not the nicest conditions here in South Bermondsey this evening. Chilly, wind is up, rain is falling. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Murray Wallace just going long to the edge of the area with the free kick. Flag up here. Assistant referee says offside. So that'll be a free kick to Everton. We're midway through the first half, no goals as yet.
Millwall will be loving the weather, I think. It was just like when I used to play for Middlesbrough, and you used to be up in the northeast, and you knew that teams were coming up from London. You thought, it'd be great. They come up here, the weather's cold. It's see if they really fancy it. Let's just really go for it. And Millwall will be the same. You're thinking, right, Everton, okay, the weather's probably not great up in Merseyside. However, if they don't fancy it tonight, we're going to be there to pounce.
Free kick Everton. Pickford with his left foot pings it. Long way downfield. Williams chests it down, hoiks the ball straight up in the air. Difficult one to control. No one can do that. Cleared by Hutchinson. Long one to chase down the right-hand side. And Mina, shoulder to shoulder with Gregory, just shepherds the ball out of play. And Everton get a throw. There were early chances in this game. Calvert-Lewin couldn't get the proper contact on a header. That drifted wide. Yerry Mina's down, having chased that ball, and seems to be in a spot of bother, so that will be of concern for Everton. Jake Cooper had the chance for Millwall, and he headed that well wide.
Yeah, no, that will be a concern. But they've got big Kurt Zouma on the bench, who's, I think, more than an adequate replacement. If he were the one to come on for him, just seeing there, looking who's actually going for a bit of a run there. I'm not really quite sure, can't work it out right now, but it may be Kurt Zouma.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, so that seems like the most the one that you'd expect him to replace him with.
Mina's come in for Zouma this evening. While we're waiting for the treatment, let me just run you down the Championship results today as well, in case you haven't heard them. Aston Villa 2, Ipswich 1. Blackburn 3-0 winners over Hull. Norwich 2, Sheffield United 2. The leaders Leeds were 1 down away to Rotherham, eventually won the game 2-1. Martin O'Neill got a win. Nottingham Forest beat Wigan 3-1. And Preston were 2-0 winners at Stoke. Yerry Mina is about to be hauled to his feet in the rain here at the Den, but he's taken his time. There's no point in risking things, and I'm just about to read a Peterborough United statement to you, which has been put in front of me. Club statement from Peterborough. The football club wishes to announce that the manager Steve Evans and assistant manager Paul Rayner have been released from their contracts with immediate effect. Peterborough drew 0-0 with Charlton today. They're currently sitting 6th in League One at the moment, but Steve Evans and Paul Rayner have gone. So that is news for you here during the first half of Millwall 0, Everton 0. Wimbledon West Ham on the way. Still waiting for Yerry Mina to get ready. Everton fans having a good old sing-song at the moment. While we've got the time, Mark, just tell me I don't know how many times you've seen Everton live this season, but they're really difficult to work out. They've been a frustrating watch, I think, this season. Yeah,
they have been, and I think, for every Everton fan as well, I think they'd be very frustrated with the way that their team's performed this season. I mean, it's been inconsistent is probably the best way of describing them. They've got a lot of talented individual players there. They've just got to find some more consistency.
Performances against the big boys haven't been good, and performances away from home, or certainly results away from home, have not been the best either. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Back underway here at the Den. Here's Tunnicliffe. Sean Williams able to turn. Third goal in the game in League 2 this evening. This one's gone to Lincoln, so Bury having equalised, now trail 2-1 at home to the leaders. Bury 1, Lincoln 2 is a latest. And Lee Gregory has the ball for Millwall. Inside the Everton half, Jake Cooper swings across in with his left foot. Richarlison nudges it down to Gay. Gay to Digne. Digne looking for that run of Richarlison down the left, and Hutchinson and Richarlison run straight into each other as they challenge for the bouncing ball. I think the Everton players are complaining that Hutchinson had his eye on Richarlison and not the ball and took him out. Hutchinson's picked himself up, and Richarlison is down and hurt at the moment.
Yeah, and the linesman, it's on the side of the linesman. Yes, the linesman's in the other half, but it's not far from that half. And the referee's very close, and he actually hasn't even flinched. So as far as he's concerned, it was a fair challenge. He's actually given a free kick to Millwall.
Exactly, and he can see it better than us from over here. No video assistant referee in play, by the way, in this particular FA Cup tie this evening. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Michael Keane's holding the side of his head, having jumped with Murray Wallace. And then Gregory challenges Coleman. Everton win the free kick, and I think you can probably hear from the Millwall fans around us what they thought of that. And there's just a little bit of spice bubbling away in the tie now.
Yeah, that's a couple of times Murray Wallace. He's normally out here right on the touchline when there's a goal kick. He's been pulled up once already for barging into Gomez when the ball was kicked up by Jordan Archer. On this occasion again, the referee has adjudged him to use his arms, and I think he gets his arms quite involved when he jumps up for a ball, so he just has to be a little bit careful with that.
That's a very polite way to put it, Mark. Gets his arms involved as he... I mean, we always say you do have to use your arms to jump,
that's right. I'm not saying there's any malice there.
No.
It's just the way he dives in and he uses his arms sort of to help him get up and also in the way at times. So it's not like there's any danger involved. It's just more a case of, he needs to get his arms away a little bit more.
Here's Garner Gay on the left. Richarlison, ball on his right foot, sweeps a pass across field to Coleman. Lookman just drops off for him, just outside the Millwall penalty area. Clever movement of the right foot away from the ball, but the pass to Sigurdsson is intercepted, and it's a chance for Murray Wallace to clear. That came off the shins of Sigurdsson as it went past him, and it's out for a Millwall throw on the left.
Yeah, interesting to see then. Neil Harris was very quick to throw a dummy and let the ball go underneath him, but Marco Silva was watching and has great control.
Keane and Gregory battling for the ball again. Both had a good handful there of each other's shirts. Good physical challenge between centre-back and centre-forward. Both of them relishing the contest. Keane won the header, and the ball's out for another Millwall throw. Half an hour played in the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live. This is FA Cup 4th round weekend. If you're out and about, hopefully you're listening to us on the BBC Sounds app. If you're on the move, and as I said to you, all the 4th round goals available on the BBC Sport app, through the BBC Sport website, and via the red button on your television as well, as Garner Gay brings the ball out for Everton, crosses the halfway line. Richarlison, whose white shirt is splattered with mud, wins a free kick 35 yards from goal, brought down by Tunnicliffe, and Everton will have the set piece.
Yeah, I think Richarlison was very, very lucky to get a free kick there. I think he was already diving before Tunnicliffe was anywhere near him, so I think the referee gave him slightly the benefit of the doubt there, and it is in a dangerous position for Millwall.
It's Mark Schwarzer with us here at the Den. Rain seems to be getting just that little bit harder throughout this first half. Luca Digne and Gylfi Sigurdsson, the two Everton players standing over the free kick, and Sigurdsson, you could see, just treading down a little divot in front of the ball. May well be an in-swinger from his right foot. No, it's Digne with the left boot to the far post. Mina throws himself at it, couldn't make contact, flag was up, wouldn't have counted, offside.
Yeah, I think I think fortunate that the linesman put his flag up, because there would have been other question marks asked there about pulling shirts in the 18-yard box there. I actually originally thought maybe the linesman was putting his flag up for that very reason. However, he's judged it to be offside. Yeah,
you're right. I think there was a handful of shirt there, and actually the other way round slightly reminded me of the Llorente goal for Tottenham in the League Cup semi-final in the week, where I thought he had a bit of handful of the defenders' shirt, but did really well actually to sort of get himself down and get the header in, and Mina was threatening there. 13 minutes to play in the first half. Challenges flying in inside the Everton half. Keane volleys the ball away on his right foot. Calvert-Lewin will chase Jordan Archer. That's awkward for him outside the area. Controlled it on his thigh, had to side-foot it out for an Everton throw.
Yeah, almost got caught out there, Jordan Archer. I mean, he was caught in two minds. I think he thought it was easily going to come in the box, but there was a chase on from an Everton player and it put him under pressure in the end, but he dealt with it pretty calmly in the end.
Andre Gomes. Back to Michael Keane. Keane across the halfway line to Yerry Mina. Now Digne for Everton. Richarlison still wants that ball, but his pass to Digne is not a good one. Sigurdsson in with a tackle. Richarlison forward to Calvert-Lewin, looking for the return pass. It is behind Richarlison. He will get there, Twiston are turned down by the byline. There's the pull back to the edge of the area, cleared by Hutchinson. Gay controls it for Everton. Plays a low ball out to Digne, thought about the early cross, decided against it. Gay now to Sigurdsson, back to Gay, just nudged off it there by Romeo. The referee had a good view of that, decides it wasn't a foul. Ferguson jumps to win a header inside the Millwall half. He is fouled. Millwall free kick.
Yeah, I think it was good refereeing. I think Idrissa Gay wasn't fouled. I think it was just a good body block, really, or running along within Romeo and did very, very well. And I think afterwards, Seamus Coleman did the foul that it committed the foul that he needed to do to slow the game down.
Millwall 0, Everton 0. I was mentioning Everton's FA Cup heritage as 5 times winners. Mustn't forget Millwall's recent heritage in the competition. Finalists 2004, quarter-finalists as the League One team a couple of years ago. Semi-finalists again 2013 as a Championship team. Lost to Wigan, who of course went on to win the final. Hutchinson at centre-back comes all the way back to Jordan Archer. Archer's closed down by Calvert-Lewin. Slightly scruffy clearance. Richarlison heads it forward. Sean Williams alert for Millwall. Side foots the ball back to Archer, who makes a much better fist of this clearance. High in the air, Michael Keane running forward, stoops and heads it straight out of play for a Millwall throw. Yeah,
the ball's definitely swirling around a bit there. You can see that Michael Keane was complaining about the ball swerving in the air as it got caught by the wind and the rain. He did well on the end. Defend it, get it out of the way, goes out for a throw in, it's still safe.
Romeo's long throw down that right-hand touchline. Mina with an overhead clearance for Everton. Flicked on by Lookman. Calvert-Lewin will chase. And then incredible sliding challenge, absolutely nowhere. Now, I think he lost his feet there. And it was a sliding tackle about 10 yards from the player. Very nearly got to the player, who was Jake Cooper. It didn't. Eventually, Everton have intercepted. Keane to Gomez, chased by Leonard. Gomez releases the pass to Lookman. Lookman threads a nice ball infield to Coleman, trying to stab it through to Gomez. Lookman is alert here, gets to the loose ball quickly for Everton, plays it back to Gay. Gay with the floated diagonal, that's going to skid away from Luca Digne, who goes hurtling into the advertising hoardings behind that goal away to our right hand side, and the ball's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Neil Harrison and Millwall will be happy with the way that the game's gone so far. Everton, yes, of course, have had a couple of half chances, which you'd expect them to, but overall I think Millwall's dealt with the dangers very, very well.
Quiz question for you, Mark. Do you know the last team from the second tier, like Millwall are, from what is now called the Championship but used to be called Division 2, to win the FA Cup? I'll let you have a little think about that.
I'll need a little bit more than a little bit of time.
Millwall finalists in 2004. We've had 4 finalists from the second tier since this last team I'm thinking of to win it. The reason I asked the question is the likelihood of a Championship team now winning the FA Cup is very, very remote, I think, compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think the gap between the divisions is always getting greater and greater, and there's a number of reasons for it. But you know what, the FA Cup.
Oh, miscue from Jordan Archer. This might fall to Sigurdsson. Lovely first touch from Sigurdsson. Tries to take it round Cooper. Cooper stands his ground really well. Clears with his left foot. That could have been awkward for Millwall.
No, Cooper did really well there. He didn't commit himself. He couldn't. He was in the 18-yard box. And Gylfi Sigurdsson, I think he got caught in 2 minds then. Because he waited for Sigurdsson to make the first move, he got caught out. And it was very good defending.
Throw in for Seamus Coleman and Everton on the right-hand side. We're into the last 10 minutes of the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live, Millwall 0, Everton 0. 7 teams definitely through to round 5 already from the weekend action. Manchester City, Manchester United and Watford from the Premier League. Bristol City, Derby and Swansea from the Championship. Doncaster from League One. Sigurdsson's low ball out to the left. Digne comes all the way back to the halfway line. Mina, short pass to Gomez. Gomez dummies the cross. Ryan Leonard bought the dummy. Gomez moves it down the left. Digne's cross is deflected, headed up in the air by Romeo, and then Hutchinson is there, powerfully heads it away for Millwall, and it's out for a throw in to Everton on the left.
Yeah, let's just say never say never that a team outside the top flight can win the FA Cup, because I think it can happen again. We often revert back to what Leicester did in 2016. Whoever thought that was ever possible? So why not? Why can't a team outside the top flight win the FA Cup?
Mina's flick on here. Millwall struggling to clear their lines. Lookman just knocks the ball into the body of Ferguson. Ferguson's a real handful to deal with when he's trying to take the ball off you, all arms and legs and scrapping and fighting. Murray Wallace, good bit of skill down the left-hand side, gets away from Garner Gay, beats Sigurdsson as well, plays it here to Leonard, rolled back to Wallace. It was actually Aidan O'Brien with that little bit of skill. I don't want to take the credit away from him and give it to the left back instead. That was wonderful stuff. Left Sigurdsson flat on his back. Coleman clears for Everton. Sigurdsson jumps for the header, can't win it. Jake Cooper toes it forward to Shane Ferguson, gets his body in the way of Lookman, wins the free kick for Millwall, and I can bet you any money this is going high and into the Everton penalty area.
Yep, absolutely. That's where you expect it to go. Tell you what, Jake Cooper was very, very good there. Very calm again for a big guy. He's got really good feet and very, very calm and composed on the ball.
I'm going to give you a very easy clue for the last winner from the second tier of the FA Cup. I'm going to say Trevor Brooking diving header. Trevor Brooking, come on, Mark. You're going to have some annoyed fans of this club if you don't get it.
At this club?
Of the club that it is. No, not at this club.
About to say.
Williams' ball into the edge of the area, headed away by Luca Digne. Romeo knocks it down the line, and Digne bouncing ball clears. 1980, West Ham as a second division team beat Arsenal 1-0.
You know what? That was just a too obvious answer.
Yeah,
that's why I went away from it. I didn't actually think West Ham. I just thought, where was he before that?
Yeah. Four teams since then that have made the final, one of them being Millwall. QPR in 82 lost to Tottenham after a replay. Sunderland in 92 lost to Liverpool. Millwall lost to Manchester United, and Cardiff were the last team to manage it, losing to Portsmouth in the 2008 final. I think that year we actually had 3 championship teams in the semi-finals, plus Portsmouth.
What was it, 96-97 season? Chesterfield got to a semi-final.
Correct. Millwall 0, Everton 0. Williams lays it off to Wallace. Lookman back doing some defending for Everton, gets in Wallace's way. Millwall have worked it well though. Wallace on his right foot, big high ball out to the right hand side, good one though, finds Romeo looking for an option, just a little layoff on the right to Aidan O'Brien. He's got Digne right behind him, being forced back all the way to the halfway line here. Just 5 minutes remaining in the first half. More reaction to the FA Cup scorelines today coming your way at half-time on 5 Live. Romeo, well forward again for Millwall. Got 2 Everton defenders on his back. Lays it off to Cooper. Half volley pass to Wallace. Williams lets this run. Gregory will chase. Keane will get there first for Everton. Clips the ball away low, and Seamus Coleman cleverly knocks it into the shins of Williams and wins the throw for Everton.
Yeah, very positive stuff from Millwall. Very good. Still got a lot of energy. We're talking about 42nd minute in the game, and they're still up there with their intensity, and they've got the confidence. I think they've held their own in this half, and at times they've posed a bit of a threat to Everton.
I think in the 3 o'clock kickoffs today, 6 of the 8 FA Cup ties were goalless. This may well be the same. Williams slides in, hoists the ball forward, and Jordan Pickford comes scampering out and grabs it in both hands. Neil Harris getting soaked as he applauds the efforts of his Millwall team. Mina, right-footed ball across the back 4. Seems to be moving okay after that little stoppage we had in the first half when he went down after chasing a ball to the touchline. Seamus Coleman wants an option here. Michael Keane into the feet of Garner Gay. Gay calls him forward. Lookman, good first touch and turn into Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson was expecting his ankles to be clipped there. The challenge didn't come. Lays it off to Gay. Gay plays it wide to Digne. Now Richarlison makes the run down to the byline on the left-hand side. Richarlison getting booed, having gone down a couple of times in this first half when he's been challenged. Gomez's ball in. Jake Cooper's happy to head those away all day long. Runs to Coleman. Gay lets the ball run across him. Leonard closes in. Here's Gomez. Gomez towards Richarlison. Turns, hits the drive. Oh, it's awkward and it squirms under the body of Jordan Archer. Archer turns to his defenders and complains that Richarlison was able to get the shot away. but surely the goalkeeper has got to do better than that. Richarlison's goal gives Everton the lead at the Den. It's Millwall 0, Everton 1.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jordan Archer. Yeah, it has to go on his cap. Yeah, bad mistake from him. Yeah, there was probably a little bit of a distraction in front of him, but as a goalkeeper, you've got to be prepared for that. We're going to see it now from a different angle, where we can see whether or not he was actually obstructed in any way. No, I mean, it may have taken a slightest of touches off a defender, but not enough to put it out of the way.
Sean Hutchinson.
Yeah, it did. It actually did take a deflection, and it did put him off, but it was an awkward bounce in front of him, but he has to do better than that.
Have to say, Mark, you are the perfect man to have here sitting right now after an incident like that, because it's so easy for us to say we've never been there, that's a bad mistake. But
well, the first thing I always look at is how come could that happen from that distance? Did something else happen along the way? And his immediate reaction was he was complaining about something that happened in front of him. There's no going away from the fact that it was his mistake in the end. He has to do better than what he did, but it did take a deflection, and it was an awkward bounce. But I think the distance from where it took the deflection to where he was standing in goal was sufficient enough for him still be able to react and make the save. So he's got to hold his hand up and go, I've got to save it, it's my mistake.
Difficult conditions for goalkeepers, we'll always say that. Slippy pitch, slippy ball, and it's raining, but still,
no, he's got to save it, 100%, no doubt about it whatsoever. I'm just, you see the facts there, and I know it's difficult, but that's what your job is about. As a goalkeeper, you've got to react. The distance between where the deflection was and him on the goal line was enough.
Millwall 0, Everton 1. Bury 2, Lincoln 2. Some first half in League 2 in that game. Millwall have won a free kick just outside the Everton penalty area. When it gets to half-time, Mark, we'll retrieve that pen that's been thrown at us from the row above. Ferguson with the free kick into the Everton penalty area. Digne heads it away. Murray Wallace just nods it sideways. Intercepted here, and Everton have a chance to counter. Gay is looking for the run of Lookman. That is going to force him wide, that ball, and Lookman's not going to be able to keep it in play. Out for a throw into Millwall on the right-hand side. Yes, a pen just suddenly appeared from the row above, and I know that is a rival radio station behind us, but I don't think that was a deliberate act. I don't think we need to look back at that.
Maybe like my analysis of the goal that was conceded by Millwall. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Could be that. Added time end of the first half. The FA Cup board doesn't have the numbers on both sides, so we're going to need our assistant referee to make sure he does the full pirouette here. He does, to let us know that we've got 2 minutes of added time before we'll hand you back to Jason Mohammed here at half-time on 5 Live. Millwall 0, Everton 1.
We're just talking about before, weren't we, how comfortable it was for Millwall, how they kind of, the game had sort of plateaued out a little bit. They seemed to have a bit of a foothold in it. They were holding their own, and then they concede a goal like that. Disappointing. You could see the frustration on the pitch, and obviously you could hear it in the stands.
Unnecessary free kick conceded by Everton on the halfway line. Millwall again will hit this long towards the edge of the Everton penalty area. Late attacking opportunity in the first half. Rain seems to be picking up in intensity again, almost like a mist that is sweeping across the stadium under the floodlights at the moment. Ball comes diagonally from right to left. Cooper gets up and wins the first header, and it's into the back of the net from Aidan O'Brien. It's Gregory who gets the last touch, floats it over Jordan Pickford. It was an unnecessary free kick for Everton to concede. Came in long to the edge of the area. Cooper won that crucial first header, and the finish was absolutely lovely. Floated over Pickford for Millwall 1, Everton 1.
Yeah, great finish, great header. Over the top of Pickford. You have to ask serious questions there, all over the pitch from Everton. How could he get a free header like he did in the 18-yard box? Well, actually outside the 18-yard box. And yeah, Jordan Pickford half comes, stays, gets caught a little bit in no man, and there's a bit of a looping header over the top of him. But you know what? I still don't think if he's on his line he's going to make that save, because it goes in the top corner. It's a brilliant header. Very difficult, yeah. I mean, Everton, very poor defending.
Well, that certainly livens this cup tie-up. I think that's going to be the very last action of the first half. So having worked ever so hard, Everton, to get themselves in front, gifted a goal, concede a silly free kick, defend the free kick poorly, half-time whistle blows, and Everton's troubles, shall we say, just 3 wins in the last 11 games, continue here. Lee Gregory, though, Mark Schwarzer, that is a really cleverly guided header for the equaliser.
Absolutely. I mean, it starts with Jake Cooper, the header from outside the box, where he heads it back into the 18-yard box near the penalty spot, and it was a brilliant header from Lee Gregory. Really, really good header. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly where he was aiming for, and it was right almost in the top corner, very, very close to it. Very good header.
Atmosphere at the Den went flat for a minute or two. It's buzzing again at half-time. Millwall have equalised late on. Second half to come on 5 Live. Millwall 1, Everton 1.
Ali and Mark, thank you very much indeed. Just before you go for your half-time cuppa, let me just ask you, Mark, a very good evening to you. The BBC text commentary in front of me, where it says Millwall 0, Everton 1, Richarlison, simply says howler. You have to say, it is a howler from Jordan Archer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I mean, as a goalkeeper, you come in at half-time and you hold you out and you apologise. You say, you know what, I messed up. I have to say that, yeah, it took a deflection, but that's my mistake. I've got to do better.
By the way, Ali, just want to know, what sort of pen has been thrown at you?
It looked like quite a smart one. You see, I only use a sort of cheap bit. Well, are you suggesting it might be worth keeping rather than returning? Yeah, maybe. It looked quite nice, actually. It looked like a fountain pen. I normally use the old Bic Biro, but...
well, I lost my on-air TV pen last week because I have an on-air TV pen. I lost it, so if it looks fancy, I'll keep it.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed. Ali Boosball and Mark Schwarzer, back to you very shortly. Don't forget, AFC Wimbledon v West Ham United, live tonight, kick-off here on 5 Live at 7:45. No 6:06 this evening, but your FA Cup stories, views, very welcome on the text tonight, 85058. Let's just remind you of the scores this afternoon in the FA Cup in the lunchtime kick-off. Accrington 0, Derby 1, Brighton 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Doncaster 2, Oldham 1, Manchester City 5, Burnley 0, Middlesbrough 1, Newport 1, Newcastle 0, Watford 2, Portsmouth 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Shrewsbury 2, Wolves 2, cracking cup tie there, and Swansea City 4, Gillingham 1. And the latest in League 2, Bury 2, Lincoln City 2. It is the first test, day 4, West Indies against England. Let's go live to Barbados and Jonathan Agnew.
We've got 20 minutes to go till tea on this fourth day. Still lots of play remaining, therefore, and the West Indies over it's very slow too. But England are 208 for 4, so they've got 6 wickets left. Can they possibly hang out over what remains of today and all day tomorrow? It looks increasingly unlikely. We saw a good innings of 84 from Burns, a disappointing dismissal of Jennings for 14. Bairstow caught down the leg side during a furious spell from Shannon Gabriel, the big fast bowler who unsettled Joe Root with some short stuff, had him caught at slip, only for the ball to be ruled a no ball before Root was then caught at slip off Bravo off the off-spinner chase for 22. Stokes and Butler playing nicely. Stokes 32, Butler 18. There's 20 minutes till tea, and England are 208 for 4.
Jonathan, thank you very much indeed. A very good evening to you. Jason Mohammed with you. The time is 6:22 here on 5 Live. Let's get the latest BBC News with Stuart Clarkson.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A search is continuing in southeastern Brazil, where a dam has collapsed, engulfing an area close to an iron ore mine with industrial waste. Officials say the chances of finding anyone else alive are slim. Almost 350 people are missing. 10 are confirmed to have died. The NHS is drawing up plans to allow healthy people in England to pay for a genetic test which could predict their chances of developing serious conditions such as cancer or dementia. Under the proposals, the health service could use anonymous data to develop new treatments. European leaders have warned the Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro that he must call elections within 8 days or they'll officially recognise the opposition. Last year's election was boycotted by some candidates and there were allegations of vote rigging. More than £160,000 has been raised towards a private search for the missing Cardiff City footballer Emiliano Sala. The light aircraft containing the striker and pilot David Ibbotson disappeared over the channel on Monday night. And 70 jobs are at risk after the energy firm Our Power went out of business. The Edinburgh-based firm supplies 38,000 customers.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
So we got delays on the M20 in Kent. It's closed all weekend between junction 9 at Ashford and 11 for Hythe while they're putting a new bridge in. There is a diversion to follow. We've got congestion both ways to the A20 at the moment. Take you about an extra half an hour to get around that. The A1M in Hertfordshire heading north, very slow. There was a vehicle on fire. South Mims, the M25 up to junction 2 at Welham Green. It's just reopened in the last 5 minutes or so, but very, very busy there. The M1 in Buckinghamshire also heading north. Laney's blocked and traffic slow because of a breakdown from 14 at Milton Keynes to 15 for the A45 at Northampton. And in West Yorkshire, the M621 around Leeds heading east. Heavy traffic there. There was a breakdown at junction 2 just by Elland Road. Stuart Clarkson, 5 Live Travel.
When will we six meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. The Six Nations, rugby's greatest championship, starts Friday night with France against Wales. Kick-off at 8 p.m, live on 5 Live and across the BBC.
This is 5 Live Sport with Jason Mohammed.
Yes, a very good evening to you. One more FA Cup commentary to come here on 5 Live Sport. What a day it's been. We'll bring you AFC Wimbledon against West Ham United. That's at 7:45. Our football correspondent John Murray is there for us. John, a very good evening to you. We've had a terrific day of Cup action, haven't we?
It always is, and even when there aren't many goals around, that means there's a little bit of edge involved as well. But some dramatic late goals, and yes, it's delivering again for us.
Now, John, Wimbledon have lost their last 2 home games. Do we ignore those type of stats on Cup Day, given that Wally Downs will have them right up for this one?
Well, those who watch Wimbledon regularly are telling me that even though they are where they are, and they're now 5 points adrift at the bottom of the table, they're 8 points behind fourth bottom Rochdale, who are the team above the relegation zone, that things have improved since Wally Downs took over at the start of last month. But I'm a little bit like you. Over the course of the last week, they've lost heavily at home, admittedly, to a couple of the teams that are chasing promotion in Fleetwood and Barnsley. But I was also thinking that when it comes to the Cup, it is one of the Cup cliches, isn't it? That sometimes the league form can be very misleading when it comes to a Cup tie, a one-off match. And I must say here at the Cherry Red Records Stadium, Kings Meadow, if you prefer, which is a very low-level ground, the rain, it was drizzle, it's now rain. And it's blowing in and it's swirling around the pitch under the floodlights, and it looks fairly inhospitable, I would say, for a Premier League club coming here and about to face an FA Cup 4th round match.
Yeah, very wet too at Millwall. John, I remember last season you and I for 5 Live were at Shrewsbury Town, West Ham United, when you have to say West Ham that day were very, very ordinary, weren't they, John?
Yes, they were, but they got the job done in the end, and that's really what it's about. And I have to say, I think looking at West Ham, as has been discussed about some clubs this season, whether it's Wolves or Leicester City, who are no longer in the competition, I look at where West Ham are in the Premier League now. They've already got to 31 points, and we're not yet at the end of January. They're 12 points above the relegation zone. So I think to myself, West Ham surely must be thinking that they might be able to have a run in the FA Cup this season.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many teams in the Premier League as well. I mean, look at Watford today, John. They made 11 changes. They beat Newcastle United. I was with Andrew Cole this afternoon, who was so frustrated that Newcastle United didn't give it a right go this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle have obviously got the battle to fight at the bottom end of the Premier League, and that is their priority. But for those teams, and Watford are another one, I saw them win at Woking in the previous round when they changed the whole team. They are another, when you think that Liverpool are out of the Cup, Arsenal are out of the Cup, and okay, you've still got the other big guns in it. But, if the draw favours them, and the other big teams end up playing each other, the opportunity is there for one of those teams to have a memorable season, a bit like Wigan back in 2013.
Yeah. To my 2 guests this afternoon, I suggested to them that Manchester City will take some stopping in the FA Cup this year. And they replied, there's one team who could possibly beat them, and that is Manchester United. I'd expect 2 former Manchester United players to give that sort of answer to me, John.
I thought they were impressive last night. I was there at the Emirates last night and spoke to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer late in the evening, and I said to him what I'd said on air earlier, that even though in the Premier League they'd gone and won 1-0 at Tottenham under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that possibly that was the sweetest, and he said it probably was because of the way that they played the game. And I thought the thing that was really encouraging for Manchester United was when it was kind of in the balance that he made that change. He didn't bring on a defensive player, he didn't bring on someone to shore things up. He sent on Martial and Rashford, and they ended up scoring another goal and winning 3-1.
Yeah, terrific stuff. John, back to you shortly. Thank you very much indeed. Let's bring you some reaction from what has been a really enthralling day of FA Cup action on the BBC. Matty Dolan's injury time goal earned League Two Newport County a replay against Middlesbrough of the Championship. Let's hear from Mickey Flynn. He's with Damien Johnson.
Many congratulations, Michael. That was a real gritty performance from your team, wasn't it?
It was. I thought we were excellent. From start to finish, we had the best chances in the game. Look, they're quality. We give away a sloppy goal, but my boys don't know when they're beaten. They kept going to the end, and that is a very, very proud day, and I'm a proud manager.
In your heart of hearts, when Semenyo missed that late chance, did you think that was it?
Yeah, I did. And he usually buries them. He buries them 9 times out of 10. He's bow-footed. He's a talent. He's going to go all the way. But the rest of the players today were outstanding. The team shape was excellent. The determination, the work ethic, everything we worked on, the corner we even worked on again, and we should have scored. I thought they were brilliant. I can't praise them enough.
Well done, Mickey Flynn. And history was made at the Keep Moat Stadium as Doncaster Rovers beat Oldham Athletic with a controversial late penalty to book their place in the 5th round for the first time since 1956. Manager Grant McCann has been talking to John Akers.
Grant, a little slice of history for you and your club.
Yeah, well, the aim was, I think it's 62 years since the club's been in the 5th round. So we're delighted, and more importantly, delighted for the fans, really, because we've had a tough few rounds, going to Chorley and away to Charlton, away to Preston. It's the first home game we've had. I thought we controlled the game for large parts today. Their keeper was excellent. But it got a bit feisty second half. It came to life a little bit. Really good goal from Ben Whiteman, and we got clawed back. But over the past few weeks, we've conceded a few late goals, and it was nice to be on the right end of a late goal today.
What did you make of the penalty?
Well, I could see the hand. I'm not sure. I mean, we had one here last week in the league where it was similar. We don't know whose hand it hit, but the referee had seen it. The linesman had seen it. The fourth official had seen it. And fortunately for us, we got it, and as you know, in a penalty you got to put it away, and it was an excellent finish.
Well done to Doncaster Rovers. Don't forget then, AFC Wimbledon, West Ham United live tonight here on 5 Live. Kickoff is at 7:45. There is no 6:06 this evening, but we'd love your text messages on what's been a terrific day of FA Cup action. 85058 if you've been at a game. Your stories and your views, please. 85058 on the text. Well, let's go back to Mark Schwarzer, who's watching Millwall against Everton. And Mark, we've seen a couple of howlers this afternoon in the 3 o'clock games as well, but the TV panellists are looking at Jordan Pickford's positioning for the equaliser at your game tonight, and also they're looking at his footwork. Is he at fault?
No, he's not at fault, but he's out of position. I mean, he looks like he wants to firstly come for the ball once it gets headed back into the box, then realises he can't get anywhere near it, stays still, and then at that stage he's out of position. So it makes it a lot easier. It kind of makes Lee Gregory's mind up for him, and he knows if he gets a little bit of air on this and he's able to loop it over him towards the corner, then Jordan Pickford's got no chance of making a save, and that's exactly what happened.
So as that ball comes in, where should Jordan Pickford be?
Well, initially he's got to be in a bit more of an advanced attacking position. The minute he realises he can't come out and take that ball, he's got to drop. He's got to drop towards his line more and actually not allow himself to be lobbed almost. I mean, it's not that it kind of went out, it didn't go over his head, but it was a lobbing ball, a looping ball. Had he have been on his line, he would have been able to use his feet. He's very, very quick. He's moving around the goal line, he's very quick, and he could have possibly then be able to get across in the way that where he was standing in the end. In my opinion, gave him no chance to make a save.
And Mark, a lot of people and pundits are, shall we say, having a go at Jordan Pickford. It's almost every single move he makes. Is that because he's England's number one, or does he have a long way to go to be considered a top class international goalkeeper?
I think it's a bit of both. I think the fact that he is England's number one, he is in the spotlight all the time. He has set the bar at a certain level. He performed very well at the World Cup. He made penalty saves. He made some very good saves in games. So there's a level of expectation now, And that's what, you know, I often say to young players is, you know, it's very tough to make it into the top flight. When you get there, though, it's even tougher to maintain that position. So then there's all of a sudden there's an expectation. You've got to try and reproduce at the bare minimum the level of performance that you have over the course of that season. And people's expectations rise all the time.
Yeah, and you may have been there, Mark, but when you have had a difficult moment like Jordan had apologising after that mistake in the Merseyside derby, how tough is it mentally to bounce back from that?
I've been there more times than I'd like to have been there.
I didn't want to mention any specific incidents.
Of course, no, there's been numerous ones throughout my career. I mean, partly because I played for too long, possibly. But you know what? It's tough. It's very difficult because not only do you feel the emotion from the players, your teammate, you feel like there's a huge amount of responsibility. You let your teammates down, you let your manager down, and of course you've let the supporters down. And that's hard. And you know there's an initial reaction. People are frustrated, annoyed, they're angry. You know, you've got your doubters, and that all just builds on you. So the pressure always then builds. So it's tough. It is very tough.
Okay, if you have views on Jordan Pickford and the way the media treats him, 85058 on the text. The teams are coming back out. Let's rejoin Mark and Ali Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Jason. Everton are going to make a change at half-time here, an unsurprising one as well. Kurt Zouma is going to come on for Yerry Mina at centre-back. About midway through that first half, Yerry Mina chased the ball back into his own half, ended up sitting down for 2 or 3 minutes, managed to pick himself up and continue until half-time, but Marco Silva's decided not to take the risk anymore with him, so Kurt Zouma will come on to play alongside Michael Keane. In terms of disruption, actually, Mark Schwarzer, we're still waiting for Millwall to reappear here, by the way. Millwall 1, Everton 1 at half-time. In terms of disruption, that's not hugely problematic because Keane and Zouma have been playing alongside each other all season.
Yeah, no, I think there won't be any disruption at all. The only thing is, you know, as a player, when you come on at half-time, you need to make sure you are switched on, you're ready to go. You know, there's been 45 minutes of the game already played. You have to hit the ground running the minute the game kicks off. Focus. It's more of a mental approach more than anything else at this stage.
So there's the change. Kurt Zouma comes on as the Millwall team reappear from the tunnel here at the Den. The rain has eased. We still have a chilly wind blowing around the stadium this evening. 2 late goals in the first half, as we were just discussing with Jason Mohammed. Jordan Archer at fault for the first. Richarlison's 25-yarder, probably more than that, maybe almost 30-yarder, squirming underneath his body to give Everton the lead. Then Everton conceding that free kick on the halfway line just before half-time. Launch long to the edge of the box. Jake Cooper got up to win the first header, and then Lee Gregory, Millwall's top scorer, with a lovely header to finish it. Sigurdsson's low ball into the Millwall penalty area. Richarlison is onto that. Little 1-2 with Calvert-Lewin. Back to Calvert-Lewin again. Sigurdsson's going to chase the loose ball. That's cleared by Romeo, and the ball is out for a throw into Everton on the left.
Yeah, it's clear that Everton have obviously started the game really, really quickly in this second half. Millwall, stay focused, organised, don't concede an early goal. That's what Everton are looking to try and do now.
Michael Keane. Everton are playing in change strip this evening. White shirts, dark blue shorts, playing from right to left in this second half. Crossing towards Sigurdsson. Comes off Cooper. Jordan Archer's blocked off there by Calvert-Lewin as he came to collect the ball. And the free kick will go Millwall's way. So Millwall, same team has started the game. Jordan Archer in goal. Marlon Romeo at right back, Murray Wallace at left back, Sean Hutchinson the skipper alongside Jake Cooper, who actually was sent off, if I remember correctly, after he just joined the club playing in that 5th round tie against Leicester a couple of years ago. They did win it 1-0. They played a lot of that game with 10 men after Cooper was sent off just after half-time for a second yellow card, but it was his header that created the goal this evening. 4-3-3 from Neil Harris, Sean Williams, Ryan Leonard, Ryan Tunnicliffe, his midfield 3, Shane Ferguson on the left, Aidan O'Brien on the right, and Lee Gregory, the goal scorer, through the middle. And our producer George, who's a Millwall fan, reminds me that Lee Gregory is out of contract at the Den this summer, but once again scoring goals for the club he served so well for the last 5 years. 1-1. Early stages of the second half. Full commentary of Wimbledon West Ham to follow. Gomez with a left-footed pass, well blocked by O'Brien. Here's Gay for Everton. Fizzes a right-footed pass at Lookman. He did well to control that. Was really swerving in the air on him. Brought it down on his right thigh. Now finds Gomez. Gomez gives it back to him. Lookman on the dribble, midway through the Millwall half, middle of the pitch. plays it to Gay. Gay just measures a pass out to Digne on the left. Infield to Richarlison. Richarlison with a little give and go. Gay gives it back to him. Richarlison's let that run beyond him. Awkward for Hutchinson. Did well to stop that going beyond him. Tunnicliffe clears. Zuma's header goes straight into the stands, throwing Millwall.
Yeah, the wind's definitely playing its part. We saw before Jordan Archer's free kick. Again, did it very much exactly the same as what Jordan Pickford did in the first half. Hit it, gave it a bit of air, and it flew out over to the touchline on the other side of the pitch. This time Zuma misjudged because of the swirling wind.
Digne and Zuma jump into each other there, trying to win a header from the Millwall throw. Aidan O'Brien takes advantage, closed down quickly by Gay, and it's out for another Millwall throw on the right.
There's only one winner though.
Between Zuma and Digne, yeah. Absolutely right, yeah. Could be a long throw, this one, into the penalty area. No, Romeo's going to go short. I think he's waiting, he's looking for an option. 3 Millwall players running towards him in their dark blue shirts. Then Tunnicliffe runs away from him. Ball is thrown down to the byline. Tunnicliffe gets it. Back to Romeo. Crosses blocked by 2 Everton players. Sigurdsson volleys it away. Calvert-Lewin leaps to win a header. Nods it straight out of play. Another throw in for Millwall on the right. Midway inside the Everton half. Jordan Pickford in goal. Back 4 of Coleman, Keane. It's now Kurt Zouma alongside Keane and Lucas Digne at left back. Here's Gregory again into the Everton penalty area. Got to be careful with the tackles on him. Romeo floats across to the far post, headed into the body of Coleman. Coleman's able to bring it away for Everton, chased down by Tunnicliffe. Tunnicliffe does well to cover him. Sean Williams plays it down the left to Ferguson. Ferguson onto Murray Wallace. Good sliding challenge on Wallace by Lookman, and the ball's out for a Millwall throw. Just to finish that Everton lineup, Gomez and Gay in front of the back 4. Lookman, Sigurdsson, Richarlison with Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the striker in the 4-2-3-1. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, I tell you what, Murray Wallace, he's covering some ground up and down that touchline. He's been very, very good. Got a lot of pace there, and he's making those runs into the box, making himself available. A little bit lucky at the far post there, a little bit of confusion. However, Everton did enough to prevent any sort of header on goal.
Wallace's cross in is headed away. I just saw a little message flash up on your phone. I wasn't being nosy. There was an England cricket score there. England 217 for 6 at tea after losing 4 wickets in the second session of the match. West Indies closing in on victory. Slightly galling to read that off an Australian's phone screen with the Ashes on the way this summer.
Australia beat Sri Lanka, didn't we?
Yes,
we did, yes.
They did. Aussie international Mark Schwarzer with us on 5 Live. Cricket Social available to you if you want coverage of the cricket. It's on the BBC Sport website and app. You go to the live page on the cricket pages on the website and you click Listen Live. Jonathan Agnew will keep us updated here on 5 Live. Millwall 1, Everton 1. Good cup tie. 2 late goals at the end of the first half. And Everton bringing the ball out of their own half. And I was just going to say, actually, at the end of the first half, before they conceded, how much a battling win would do for them, considering the form they've been showing recently, the fairly feeble performance I saw at Southampton last weekend. But just before I could get the words out of my mouth, Everton conceded the goal. Coleman towards Lookman. Lookman back to Gomez, 10 yards inside the Millwall half, swings one from right to left. Sigurdsson kills it stone dead, then runs away from his marker, plays a short pass back to Gay. Gomez, little ball to Lookman. Lookman on the half turn, plays one through the middle. Calvert-Lewin was running the other way. Jordan Archer, the Millwall keeper, collects it.
Yeah, problem there was Calvert-Lewin and Gylfi Sigurdsson were making exactly the same run. And they gave Lookman no option. I mean, he tried to play the right ball, but unfortunately they both made the same run.
Cenk Tosun on the bench again for Everton this evening, and without wishing to be unkind to either he or Calvert-Lewin, I did put it to Marco Silva after the defeat at Southampton last week that a centre forward is really what Everton need. He didn't really bite on that one, I have to say, or didn't want to admit that.
What do you think he was thinking when you asked that question? Really, what he really wanted to say?
He was thinking, I can't wait to get on the bus and get going. Millwall 1, Everton 1. It's raining hard now here at the Den in southeast London. Gregory, Millwall's goal scorer, chests the ball down, did well to keep that in play, gets it back to Ferguson. Ferguson looking for Gregory again. Gregory was more intent on getting back on side. Then Ferguson comes hurtling into a challenge injudiciously there on Seamus Coleman. And that will be a free kick to Everton. FA Cup replays then already set up. Will be West Brom will host Brighton. QPR against Portsmouth. Wolves at home to Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury were 2-0 up today on Wolves, and then they called for the reinforcements off the bench, and they managed to get it back to 2-2. And Newport scoring that late goal. League 2 Newport away to Middlesbrough. So they'll go back to Rodney Parade for a fourth round replay. Play is stopped here at the Den. There was a hefty challenge between Jake Cooper and I think Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin is flat out on the floor for Everton at the moment. Both just basically fell, Mark, from a great height.
Yeah, you can see Jake Cooper was running straight at the ball, eyes on the ball. Calvert-Lewin came from the touchline, and Calvert-Lewin's come off a little bit worse for wear. He seems all right now. He's back up on his knees, but it was a big hit. But I think it was completely fair from both sides. They both ended up on the turf, and that's fine. The referee, I think, is going to do a drop ball.
Yeah. The drop ball I watched a few weeks ago in the Old Firm derby. Did you see that? The contested drop ball, because normally one team will give it to another.
That's right.
But neither team could agree. It was a proper, full-on kick lumps out of each other drop ball.
Yeah, those drop balls are brilliant. I love those.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're great. Unfortunately, they happen few and far between.
Richarlison got involved there and said, we're not having any of that. I'm knocking this back to Jordan Archer. It's probably the right thing to do, though, because Millwall were going to have the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's that obvious. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Millwall did have the ball. They did kick it out, or actually they stopped the ball, and the referee blew his whistle.
Millwall 1, Everton 1. Aidan O'Brien, Republic of Ireland international, playing the ball back to Sean Hutchinson, who is a Geordie by birth, has actually played in a Scottish Cup final for Motherwell against Celtic. Here in the FA Cup against Everton with some defending to do. Gay comes sprinting forward for Everton to Lookman inside the Millwall penalty area. Lookman onto his left foot, lays it back to Sigurdsson. Little deflection on the way through corner for Everton.
Yeah, almost made to pay there, Millwall. Romeo, one bad pass caught them out. Everton on the break, just a little bit fortunate. Gylfi Sigurdsson didn't have a very good contact with the ball, but did take a deflection. So yeah, I mean for Everton, corner, and danger's not gone away from Millwall as yet.
There's quite a fragrant tobacco smell in the air around me. I'm not going to say any more than that. 10 minutes gone, second half. Millwall 1, Everton 1. Sigurdsson with his right foot, an away swinger. Calvert-Lewin made a good run, couldn't get a connection on the volley, cleared up towards the halfway line. Players got to be careful with their footing here on the turn there. You could see Deeney was just a little bit worried about slipping. He's got it back to Pickford.
Yeah, you can see that the grass is really, really short, and obviously with the rain now, it looks like a decent size, decent pitch in terms of quite firm, and it makes it very, very slippery.
Richarlison falls over, wants a free kick for absolutely nothing, and there's a few Millwall fans in the stands around us who are making their feelings clear to him.
Yeah, listen, he's a good enough player not to have to do that. I mean, just, you could argue about it, say, well, maybe it's because of, his upbringing in terms of that's what they're used to doing, style of football, they play for those things, but it was absolutely nothing.
New feature actually coming into 606 tomorrow night after our discussion on diving last week is we are going to try and name them and shame them. So we're going to have a diver of the day or a wimp of the week award, which will be handed out each Sunday night on 606. So you don't want to be getting named in that little section of the show. No 606 tonight. We're straight into Wimbledon West Ham, full commentary from 7:45 after this game, but Chris Sutton and I will be taking the calls from 8 o'clock tomorrow night on 5 Live after Chelsea Sheffield Wednesday. 2 FA Cup commentaries tomorrow. Crystal Palace Tottenham at 4, Chelsea Sheffield Wednesday at 6, and we've also got Monday night's game, Barnet against Brentford in full. Jonathan Pearce will be doing that one for us on Monday. Millwall 1, Everton 1. Rain getting ever heavier, pitch getting ever slipperier in this second half. Cooper's lofted ball over the top. Leonard, great little nod down to Gregory. Releases Williams on the left, and the ball runs away from him and behind for the goal kick. I just wonder whether Gregory could hit that.
Yeah, but it was a really good run on the outside of him. So, it was great play by Millwall there. I think Leonard's header was sensational, actually. He's running completely the other way, and he's managed to direct it back in the pathway of Gregory. And you know what? just on another day, because of the conditions, slightly overhit it.
12 minutes gone in the second half. It's tea in the cricket, by the way. 217 for 6. As I said, England need just 411 runs to win, with 4 second innings wickets remaining. If Mark Schwarzer believes that a championship side can still win the FA Cup, then I believe that England can still win that test match.
Come on, that's not that far-fetched.
Well, if two managers can stand shoulder to shoulder, having been born on the very same day in history in the FA Cup 4th round, the odds of that have got to be pretty high. Who knows what else could happen. Free kick Everton. The reason I'm saying that, by the way, if you missed it in the first half, Neil Harris and Marco Silva, both born 12th of July 1977, the very same day they came into this world. Sigurdsson with the free kick, pacey, nodded down by Hutchinson, ball's loose in the Millwall penalty area. Leonard's able to get it away. Ferguson on the turn with his left foot, clears and out for the Everton throw.
Yeah, I think it was the right idea. Good pace on the ball, good height. Just the direction wasn't right, and also the run, I thought the timing wasn't on there. Millwall were able to deal with it quite comfortably.
This will go to a replay if it's a draw, but from the next round on, for the first time this season in the FA Cup, there won't be 5th round replay. So 5th round ties will be decided on the day, and 4th round replays, as we know, there will be only one. So those games, the replays coming up, will be finished on the night. 4 of them already in the FA Cup 4th round, and this one at the moment could be heading for another. Filthy conditions now, really is raining hard, the wind is blowing, just adds to the drama of the cup tie really. Everton are knocking the ball around inside their own half. Love this noise that the Millwall fans make. It's not any particular song, it's just a guttural, deep, throaty roar that goes all the way around the den to encourage their team and put the other team off, because Everton are keeping possession quite nicely at the moment. Lookman on the turn, finds Richarlison 25 yards out, good ball to Digne, pacey low cross, might find Lookman on the stretch, and Romeo's there, brilliant sliding challenge to clear. Richarlison slips over in the Millwall penalty area. Everton have it back on the left hand side, they concede the throw.
Yeah, you expect Lookman in that sort of position have a better touch. Had he had a quick touch, would have been able to get a good shot on goal, and probably, 6-7 yards out, you expect him to actually hit the back of the net.
I'm getting really nosy now here. Another message from a mate. You're going to have to read that one out. That amuses me.
Yeah, well, I don't even think it's worth reading out, let's
really?
Be honest.
You sure?
Apparently we didn't beat Sri Lanka. You lost at home to India. Yes, we did lose at home to India, but we did beat Sri Lanka.
Yeah, you're talking one day as
well, one day, was it? Was it one day? Yeah. Doesn't matter, we still won. Doesn't matter.
That did tickle me though. 15 minutes gone second half, half an hour to play. Fantastic noise around the den here in southeast London. Millwall 1, Everton 1. This cup tie is on the line. That's got to be offside. Yeah, Aidan O'Brien's coming back from the offside position. Neil Harris can't make himself heard down there on the touchline, screaming the instructions across the halfway line, getting absolutely soaked as he does so. We were having a little conversation at half-time about Steve Morrison and when he might appear, the 35-year-old Millwall striker in his 3rd spell at the club at the moment. I don't think it'll be too far away until he comes on and gets stuck in to the Everton backline. Michael Keane's ball forward, takes a flick, headed away by Jake Cooper for Millwall. Runs to Lookman. Lookman comes dribbling through the rain, caught as he goes down, fair tackle on him. Williams releases Shane Ferguson down the left hand side. Ferguson looking for the run of Gregory. Zuma covered the ground quickly there, gets in, knocks it out for a Millwall throw on the left.
Yeah, it makes the conditions really tough, when the wind's swirling around, the rain's beating down. It's, if anything, for me, it has to play in Millwall's favour. Get the ball in the box, put Everton on a lot of pressure. We're going to have a long throw now. Anything can happen.
Noise levels go up again. Attacking opportunity for the championship team. Ryan Leonard dummies a long throw. Goes back to Jake Cooper. It's Wallace who doesn't cross. Plays it back to Leonard on the left-hand side. Lookman clears. Gomez looking for Sigurdsson. Sliding challenge on Gomez. Everton have lost it. Dipping effort here is way over the bar. from Leonard and behind for the Everton goal kick.
Yeah, it's a waste from Millwall there. They needed to get the ball in the box. Okay, play the quick short, short throw in. But then once you get it again, whip it in the box. You've got the big guys up front, Jay Cooper in particular, there in the middle of the 18-yard box. Let him try and get his head on the end of it.
Mark Schwarzer with us, BBC Radio 5 Live, FA Cup 4th round weekend. 4 more FA Cup commentaries coming your way over the next 3 days. Next up, Wimbledon, West Ham at Kingsmeadow this evening. League One against Premier League. This Championship against Premier League. And it's honours even at the moment. Lookman trying to do something about it for Everton. Gives it to Coleman on the right. Coleman's cross in. Cooper's there for Millwall. Clears behind. Corner to Everton.
By the way, we beat Sri Lanka in a test match at innings and 40 runs. Not just correct.
Okay. Do we have a date on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Latest
Today.
blow.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, fair enough. Well, we need to hear your mate come back to you and see what answers he got on that one then.
I'm waiting.
I'm staying out of it. 1-1. Sigurdsson, away swinger. Hutchinson for Millwall, heads it up in the air. Ball drops in the penalty area. Gomez can't quite bring it down on his chest. And Tunnicliffe, I think, was caught there by a foot up on his knee. No free kick given. Idrissa Gana Gueye decides to go all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Everton are going to bring another striker on before Millwall bring another striker on. Turkish international Cenk Tosun getting the instructions from Marco Silva right now. Digne, nice 1-2 with Richarlison on the left, brings it forward, scoops a little ball, not the best ball actually to Calvert-Lewin, played in behind him. Millwall have cleared. Poor pass from Gueye, intercepted there by Leonard, then on to Tunnicliffe inside his own half. Murray Wallace dribbling out, does well, taking a risk but gets away with it. Cooper to the left finds Ferguson. Coleman into the back of Ferguson, pushes him over, and Millwall win the free kick.
Yeah, you can see Millwall just want to get the ball, get a little bit of a breather. They've been on a lot of pressure from Everton a couple of times there. They're just a little bit slow in possession, and fortunate enough, Everton gave away another needless free kick.
Right, striker for striker, that is. Tosun on for Calvert-Lewin, so no change of system. Calvert-Lewin couldn't get the job done for Marco Silva, so Cenk Tosun has been thrown in. Not scored in his last 8 appearances for Everton. Last goal came at home to Crystal Palace on the 21st of October. 7 goals in 33 appearances so far in his Everton career.
Yeah, only 2 this season, so yeah, he hasn't been on form at all. I mean, okay, he hasn't played a lot of games either from the start, so it is tough as a striker.
Yeah, Zuma's going to have to battle for a header here with Gregory. Wins it. The ball slides off his head and goes out for a Millwall throw. Attacking position on the right-hand side. 25 minutes to play. Millwall unbeaten in their last 8 FA Cup ties at this ground. Last winners of an FA Cup tie here were Wycombe Wanderers, then in League 2, December 2015 in a second round tie. Millwall have won a corner, so Everton's defence will come under pressure. And judging by the noise that the Millwall fans have been making in the last 5 minutes just to urge their team on, if the ball ends up hitting the back of the net at the Cold Blow Lane end of the ground where all the Millwall fans are, then this place is going to explode with joy. Shane Ferguson very deliberately placing the ball like a golfer would place it on the tee in front of all those Millwall fans. Left-footed ball into the near post, headed away by Digne. That was easy for Everton to deal with. Lookman chases, can't keep it in, and it's out for a throw to Millwall.
Yeah, it's important for Millwall. Set plays, get the ball, and the delivery has to be spot on there. Again, didn't beat the first man. Too easy for Everton to defend.
FA Cup highlights tonight. BBC 1, 10, 20. All the FA Cup goals, though, available to view on the BBC Sport website and app as well. Here's Williams for Millwall. Left-footed, hopeful ball, just hoisted up into the air. Williams then has to win a header from the clearance. Leonard strong on Gueye, wins the ball back for Millwall. Tunnicliffe on to Williams. Wide to Murray Wallace. I think Millwall fans really sense an opportunity here. Lookman was tugged back, wasn't he? He was. Free kick for Everton. And yellow card as well. I think that's first of the game.
Yeah, I think it is, and he's a bit fortunate there. I mean, he's given a yellow card, I think, for the foul, and then he actually kicks the ball away as well, so could have been a double whammy.
Murray Wallace gets booked. Millwall's left back the first man to receive a yellow card. FA Cup results so far today then: Accrington 0, Derby 1. Brighton and West Brom 0-0. Doncaster beat Oldham 2-1. Manchester City big win over Burnley, 5-0 at the Etihad. Newport with a late equaliser at Middlesbrough in the 1-1. Watford were 2-0 winners at Newcastle. Portsmouth 1, QPR 1. Shrewsbury were 2-0 up on Wolves. It ended 2-2. And Swansea through to the 5th round. They beat Gillingham by 4-1. Tosun into the action. Lookman trying to keep the ball for Everton. Tackled over on the right wing. Throw in for Everton. Coleman spots an opportunity, takes it quickly. Ball is back into the Everton midfield and all the way back to Zuma. A lot of space in front of him here inside the Millwall half. Good ball to his left, finds Digne. He's going to take on O'Brien. Dangerous cross to the far post. No one really attacking that for Everton. Coleman has to hurtle across there to keep it in play, and does that. Here's Lookman to Gay, looking for the run of Coleman down the right. Coleman's ball into the near post, well read by Cooper, cleared on the half volley and out for another throw into Everton.
Yeah, good effort from Coleman there. Outpaced Wallace, was able to dive and get a cross in. Unfortunately for Everton anyway, that Millwall were able to clear.
Just over 16,000 inside the Den this evening. 2,234 of those are Everton fans. Team news from Wimbledon West Ham on its way here on 5 Live when you get our next break in play. Awkward for Shane Ferguson at the moment. He's caught down by the corner flag, defending his own goal. Murray Wallace clears with his left foot. He's got to be careful now in the slippery conditions on the yellow card. Millwall 1, Everton 1. And here's Michael Keane for Everton. Plays the ball straight out of play. So let's get that team news from our next FA Cup commentary this evening at Kingsmeadow. Wimbledon West Ham. Here's John Murray.
Well, AFC Wimbledon are without the suspended Hartigan and the injured Bartram. Callum Bye's not in the 18 either, so manager Wally Downs makes 5 changes. However, Appiah, Wagstaff and McDonald all return from injury, and there's a first start for Connolly. West Ham, 10th in the Premier League, makes 6 changes, but noble captains. It includes Hernandez and Carroll, so it's going to be a challenge for the team at the bottom of League One.
Just a quick question for you as well, John. I've done a Wimbledon West Ham game this season. I am shorter than you are, and it's a bit of a squeeze in the commentary box. How are you going to cope?
Legroom's great.
Really?
Yeah, brilliant. Better than Old Trafford.
Yeah. You must be sitting somewhere different to where I was put, I think. Looking forward to the game. John and Efan Okoku bringing us commentary of that from 7:45. Wimbledon against West Ham. Wimbledon's first time in the 4th round since reforming as a football club in 2002. The crazy game, of course, famous cup winners against Liverpool in 1988. Everton last winners 1995. They've got the ball on the halfway line. Lincoln now lead again in that ding-dong game in League 2. Bury 2, Lincoln 3 in the second half there. Millwall 1, Everton 1. 20 minutes to play on 5 Live. Kurt Zuma on the ball for Everton. Shirt untucked, just slowing things down. Runs forward 20 yards, plays it back to Gomez. Gomez with his right foot across the half to Michael Keane. 20 minutes to play. Just get the feeling it might be Steve Morrison time shortly. Millwall fans thought the ball went out of play for a Millwall throw. It's then come off Leonard for an Everton throw. Millwall fans thought could have been a foul on Leonard. Michael Oliver didn't agree with them either time. Gomez floats his right-footed pass to the left. Little header from Aidan O'Brien. And the throw-in conceded by Luca Digne. So that'll be Millwall throwing their right-back position. Millwall 1, Everton 1, with the conditions, with the rain, with the wind. Just get the feeling a mistake might settle this, Mark Schwarzer.
Well, we've had one already, yeah, and it's still 1-1, and I think it deservedly should be 1-1. But yeah, you might be right. The game at the moment is evenly balanced, and there's no one really taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
Richarlison scoops the ball past Hutchinson on the left-hand side. Hutchinson tries to get back at him, lets it bounce down by the byline, hooks it clear on the turn. Gay heads it forward on the bounce for Everton. Cleared, there's Gay again, puts everything into that header, runs to Sigurdsson, 25 yards out, played into Tosun, chance for Tosun, and he finds the bottom corner. Everton back in front at the Den. Cenk Tosun with only his 3rd goal of the season It came from nothing really. Sigurdsson played the killer pass and Tosun takes the chance quite brilliantly. It's Millwall 1, Everton 2.
Yeah, it's a difference in that class there, isn't it? Sigurdsson on the ball, very cool, calm, made a really good run towards with the ball at his feet and picked out Tosun. Very, very nice little touch of the ball into his path, and it was very easy for Tosun. Yeah, he still has to beat the goalkeeper. Very cool, and just side-foots it into the back of the net. Easy for Everton.
I would still expect a real onslaught from Millwall now in the closing stages. As I said, Steve Morrison yet to enter the fray. I think he might be doing that anytime soon. And let's not forget as well, I think it was just 4 minutes after Everton scored the goal at the end of the first half that they conceded. And you can actually see here Ryan Leonard, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson turning to each other here and saying, come on, big 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was just off the back of saying no one's taken the game with a scuff of the net. They still really haven't. It was just a little bit of fortunate that there was a bit of ricochet in midfield. Everton ended up in the ball in the good position. Sigurdsson made that forward run very quickly and created that space for Tosun to find the back of the net.
Lee Gregory tackled down by the corner flag, attacking that Everton goal away to our right hand side. Attacking throw in then for Millwall. Their right back Romeo comes forward to take it. Just seen the close up of a bedraggled and soaked Marco Silva. Really enjoyed the goal from Tosun. Just under a little bit of pressure at the moment in terms of results, not necessarily his job, but just 3 wins in the last 11 games. This could be a big boost for Everton if they can win it. Romeo is fouled by Digne. Free kick for Millwall. Marco Silva, who has obviously not won the cup in this country, but did win Portugal's equivalent with Sporting Lisbon in 2015. Trying to take Everton through to the 5th round here, but his team have a set piece to defend. First of all, free kick Millwall, just over 15 minutes to play. Shane Ferguson will take this with his left foot in towards that near post. Good delivery, headed up in the air, ball dropping on the penalty spot. Real scramble, drive from Wallace and in. It's gone in off Jake Cooper. Everton appealing for offside. They're not going to get it, and once again Millwall are back in the cup tie. The Everton players are surrounding Michael Oliver here, and Michael Oliver, I think, is going to come over to the assistant referee to check whether he should be awarding this goal. It has not been given just yet, even though the Den is celebrating an equaliser. Let's wait and see, Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't look convincing that the referee's actually made that decision. I think there are some question marks whether or not it actually did come off an arm. But it was a ricochet. It was really close. Didn't seem like, he's given it.
Goal's given. It's 2-2. And Everton, for the second time in this game, as soon as they got themselves ahead, have conceded, having been unable to defend the set piece. Jake Cooper has his 6th goal of the season. We're now watching the replay on a big screen, and we're just going to try and spot what we think that Everton think the problem might be. Are they appealing for offside? We've not got the best look at it. We were just about to get it, and they've not given it. Everton are still complaining about this, and I'll tell you what does come to the fore here, Mark. Idrissa Gana Gueye is booked. Some ties in this competition have the video assistant referee to look at decisions like that. Some ties in this competition don't. So different clubs are playing to a different set of rules in different ties, and I think Everton might be, justifiably or not, will complain about that.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it looks like he may be offside, but they cut the replay on the big screen. That's the one that the players are talking about, but we don't actually really get a chance to see once the ball was struck, slowed it down. No one can see it. So, I mean, listen, at this moment in time, all you can go on is what the linesman has decided on, what the referee's given in the end is the goal.
It's got chaotic here. Jordan Pickford has come forward to have a conversation with the referee. Gana Gueye was booked. I think Tosun was booked as well. We'll check on that. There were definitely 2 yellow cards shown. And what actually added to the confusion was a replay of the goal was shown on the big screen. And after that replay went away, it wasn't at the best angle. The next angle came up, which was looking along the line. and just before that was about to be shown, it quickly disappeared from view. I think the Everton players spotted that and was saying, well, look, ref, you've got to disallow it, but he can't go off a replay on the big screen. The video assistant referee is not in play at this game. He's got to go on the decision of the assistant referee. He went over and had the conversation, and the goal stands, and it has to stand. Marco Silva, he got in a furious discussion with the fourth official. Neil Harris got involved as well. We're going to have a very lively last 15 minutes, but the decision has to stand.
Yeah, the linesman's there in his position. He makes the call. The referee ultimately goes on what he says, awards the goal. What else can we do? At the moment, there is no, like you said, there's no VAR in this game. The players just have to get on with it, whether it's right or wrong. It's just the way it is. You got to play the game.
Millwall 2, Everton 2, 13 minutes to play. And whether the goal should have stood or not, Everton guilty again, having just gone ahead of conceding a set piece, not defending it very well, giving Millwall a couple of bites at the cherry, and they got their goal.
Well, from our angle, we can't see whether it's onside or offside, what the position, what the situation was. The two replays that we saw, it's still inconclusive. The one on the line, they stopped before we could actually watch it. So, it's got to stand.
Michael Keane's jumped into the back of Ryan Tunnicliffe. That's got the Millwall fans going. Millwall get a free kick. Millwall 2, Everton 2. Let's hope Wimbledon West Ham is as good as this. Commentary coming up at 7:45. Theo Walcott, FA Cup winner twice with Arsenal, being thrown into the action, and he's coming on for Ademola Lookman. How do you feel Lookman did this evening, Mark?
He came in and out of the game. He wasn't involved enough. At times, it's tough when you're a bit of a wide player. Sometimes when the ball's not coming to you enough, you've got to start trying to look for it a little bit. And I don't think he did that enough on occasion tonight.
Millwall 2, Everton 2. Been a cracking cup tie on BBC One as well this evening. So there were big figures for the Arsenal-Manchester United game last night. Hopefully the same again. Offside against Millwall. They'll be happy the flag's gone up for that one and not the one before. I just wonder as well whether the ball coming back across goal possibly came off an Everton player, which maybe annulled the offside. But we don't know because we've just not seen the best replay on it. I should say match of the day 10:20 BBC One. I'll definitely be watching it to find out exactly what happened.
Yep, absolutely. I'm sure it'll be all over social network.
It will.
And we'll probably even see it earlier.
Yeah, and actually BBC Sport website and app, you can see the fourth round goals. So head that way, because as soon as they're available from this game, you'll be able to get them there. Millwall 2, Everton 2, 11 minutes to play. Theo Walcott is on. Everton come forward again. Richarlison, they've had the lead twice in this game, and they've conceded pretty much immediately after they'd scored. Sigurdsson poking a little ball to his right to find Coleman. Coleman stands it up to the far post. Jordan Archer catches it on the line at the second attempt. Here's a message from producer George. Social media seems to be suggesting it hit Cooper's arm on the way in. So Everton possibly appealing for a handball. But again, that's the kind of thing that the video assistant referee would have looked at and would have ruled out if it had happened. But if the assistant referee's not seen it and the referee's not seen it, we haven't got VAR, it's a goal.
Yeah, as players, it is frustrating when things like that happen. If that is the case, if it does at his harm, if he is offside, who knows? That is frustrating. But, when you don't have the technology there to help you, then you just got to get on with it.
Gomez inside the Everton half. Millwall 2, Everton 2. Good interception by Romeo, charging forward for Millwall, cut out by Gomez, and now he's got a lot of space to run into here. Crosses the halfway line, chased by Romeo. Tunnicliffe slides in to intercept it for Millwall. Williams has got to be careful, almost lost it to Sigurdsson. Ferguson has it, facing his own goal, plays it back to Murray Wallace, the left back for Millwall, who clears. Michael Keane has had a battle royal actually with Lee Gregory all afternoon. Gets the better of him this time, wins the header, gives it to Gay. Wide to Richarlison, fancies a run at Romeo. They've led him into the penalty area, edge of the box, hits the shot. It's blocked, back to Romeo, clears with his right foot. Gomez stretches a left leg out to intercept, and Everton have it again on the halfway line. Michael Keane comes striding forward for Everton. Walcott rolls it across to Sigurdsson, 30 yards out. Gives it to Gomez. Just wonder after the Jordan Archer mistake in the first half whether Everton might fancy a pot shot. Cross in from Digne. Cooper's header away. Second header from Aidan O'Brien. Gregory with a little flick on. Wants O'Brien to chase. He can't get there. It's out for an Everton throw on the left. Both teams, Mark, are not going to settle for 2-2. They're going to go for it, I think.
Well, definitely Everton, that's for sure. They're in possession mostly in this half, and they are putting Millwall under pressure. You can see they're dropping back. They've got their bank of 4 and 5. You've got Gregory up front by himself, isolated at times. So, I think it's more likely, if anything, Everton are the ones that are going to try and push for it, and Millwall try and hit them on the counter.
Definitely a talking point for tomorrow night, 6:06. This about VAR being involved in some games in the FA Cup and not in others. No 6:06 tonight, but Chris and I will be taking the calls from 8 tomorrow, and we'd love to hear from you. You were going to say something there, Mark?
I think the guy who's in control of the scoreboard is teasing everyone, because every now and then it flashes up of a still shot of the line for the goal that Millwall scored. So I think he's teasing us.
Michael Keane had a hold of Lee Gregory there. The ball had already gone. Michael Oliver decides not to award a free kick. Last 8 minutes of the game. Millwall 2, Everton 2. The other thing I must plug is the Australian Open men's tennis final tomorrow. Commentary from 8:30 in the morning. Kim Clijsters summarising the final. Should be a cracker, that. Commentary from 8:30 from Melbourne. Ryan Leonard caught in midfield. Now, if it was Gay that caught him, he's on a yellow card. I don't think Michael Oliver's going to take any action, or certainly not in terms of showing cards. It is a free kick, though. And again, he did it again, didn't he? We were about to see the replay of the challenge, and we got a little flash of it, and then it disappeared. Millwall 2, Everton 2.
Yeah, it looks like he's in a lot of pain as well. So he's rolling around the ground, he's holding his ankle, and now the physio's coming on the pitch.
Yuri Skalak is getting ready to come on here for... I've lost another pen, that's why I've got it. Dropped my own pen now. It's not people throwing pens at me. I just thought right at the end of the game I need to remember who scored the goals. It always goes out of my head. Got a little stoppage in play here. Millwall 2, Everton 2. Everton taking the lead twice. In fact, I'm going to remind myself as I write. So Richarlison with that first goal, which was the dreadful Jordan Archer mistake. Then we had the Lee Gregory header that was beautifully planted over Jordan Pickford, although possibly some questions about Pickford's positioning for that. Everton then got themselves back in front. Cenk Tosun coming off the bench, but Jake Cooper with the equaliser for Millwall has us at 2-2. A little bit of controversy surrounding the second equaliser for Millwall. As I said, match of the day tonight, FA Cup highlights, 10:20 on BBC One. Quite a long stoppage in play here as Ryan Leonard receives treatment. Been a very good cup tie. Millwall are going to have a free kick when we restart, and it's another one similar to that one at the end of the first half, Mark, where they can put that ball in, edge of the area, try and win that first header. Everton have not defended that sort of situation particularly well.
No, they haven't, and there are times there where you've obviously got Jake Cooper, who's huge, and they're going to have to put quite a few players on, one maybe to block him, one to try and mark him at the same time.
Well, Andre Gomez is with him, and he was trying to haul him back by his shirt. That's not the best plan. Richarlison half hooks a ball clear. Digne is able to control it in the left back position, closed down, 5 minutes to play. Millwall 2, Everton 2. This one heading for an FA Cup 4th round replay at the moment. Both teams still battling hard for the winner, though. Cooper with a right-footed clearance. Great flick on by Aidan O'Brien. Gregory can't get there. Keane's there first. Clears with his left foot. And out for a throw-in to Millwall.
Yeah, that's that play there. I'd be asking a question. I'd be worried there if I were Everton, why they've got Andre Gomez picking up Jake Cooper.
Yes.
I mean, it's a complete mismatch. Well, I would be putting on...
What I didn't get about that is Zuma was standing next to him as well.
Yeah, initially it looked like Kurt Zuma was actually going to pick him up.
Yeah.
But then he went with someone else, and it was really surprising. I mean, at the time you've got to take responsibility and go, you know what, I'll take him. Kurt Zuma's going to go, right, he's mine.
Yeah.
You pick up him.
Aidan O'Brien off. Has run his heart out as he always does for Millwall. 4 minutes left of this game plus added time. Yuri Skalak, Czech Republic winger who they got from Brighton in the summer, has come on, and he's not done too much for Millwall since joining in the summer. I remember him arriving 1 January at Brighton when Chris Hughton's team were pushing for a top 2 spot, and started well, scored a couple of goals in early appearances. They ended up finishing 3rd and then losing in the playoff semi-finals. Played quite a few games the following season as well as Brighton went up, but didn't score any goals, and then sort of disappeared from the reckoning. So he's at Millwall now, and he's on late in this cup tie to try and win it for them. Just over 3 minutes to play. Millwall 2, Everton 2. Tosun chases a ball into the Millwall half. Tunnicliffe is there. Right-footed ball forward. Coleman happy to head that anywhere. I think that's going to go out for a throw to Millwall on the right. And Marco Silva just telling his Everton team to calm things down. Zuma goes blundering in to win a challenge. All arms as he goes up to win it. Nods it out of play for another Millwall throw. Romeo in quickly to Tunnicliffe. He's tackled by Gay. A 3rd Millwall throw in quick succession. Wimbledon, West Ham in full. Coming up shortly here on 5 Live. Romeo's throw. Flick down the right hand side for Romeo to chase. Dini's in his way, knocks it out for another throw. Millwall just keeping it down the Everton end, keeping them under pressure.
Yeah, best way to try and prevent from conceding is have possession and be in the opposition's half. Try and be in control, don't panic, don't do anything rash. There's an offside now against Millwall, so Everton's going to get the ball, they're going to push forward. You can see now Millwall players are rushing to get back into position.
Clock ticks over into the 89th minute of the game. Millwall were 1-0 down, they were 2-1 down, they've got this back to 2-2, and it looks like their proud unbeaten run in the FA Cup at the Den is going to continue. Bury 3, Lincoln 3. That would have been a good game to do commentary on. By the way, Bury 3, Lincoln 3 are latest. And Steve Morrison is going to get a run out, but he's going to get all of 5 minutes, I reckon. 2 minutes of normal time, plus whatever added time we've got at the end of the game. Standing ovation for Shane Ferguson, the little Northern Ireland international, who's done a real shift up and down that left-hand side. Gets a big hug and a ruffle of the hair from his manager, Neil Harris. And Millwall have another throw on the right. Romeo takes it down the line. Morrison just nudges Digne out of the way. Zuma clears for another Millwall throw. That's about 6 in the space of a minute here down the right for Millwall. But can they create one more moment of mayhem in the Everton penalty area? There's Morrison again, just making a nuisance of himself, getting his body in the way. Richarlison was caught by Romeo, made the most of the challenge. Wins Everton the free kick.
Yeah, you got to know your players. You got to know who you're coming up against. You know that the minute you put a bit of body contact to him, he's going to dive. And they, Romeo just fell for it immediately. There was contact, but Richarlison obviously made the most of it.
Free kick, Everton. 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play, and it looks like another game coming the way of Millwall and Everton in the FA Cup. Tuesday night, by the way, Everton away at Huddersfield as we go around the grounds in the Premier League on 5 Live on Tuesday night. Millwall might be able to settle it here though. Ryan Leonard, strong run forward. Zuma with a risky challenge. Got the ball, goodness me, in the penalty area, stretched the long leg out, tackling from the side, had to get the ball, took the ball and Leonard just didn't quite have the gas to get past him. 4 minutes of added time to play. Flick on towards Steve Morrison, just ran beyond him. Morrison hooks one back into the Everton penalty area towards the far post, can't be kept in play, and out for the throw. And that was a risky challenge from Zuma.
It was a brilliant challenge. It was a brilliant challenge, but it was so fine line. It went from brilliant to possibly being a disaster had he have mistimed it. It would have been crazy challenge had he have mistimed it, but it was brilliant in the end. Great challenge.
In the home tie against Lincoln in the 3rd round at 2-1, right at the end of that game he made a challenge that Lincoln wanted a penalty for. He just about, this one actually was a much better tackle than that one, but he's quite happy to take a chance defending in his own box.
Well, I think he just backed himself, didn't he? He backed himself, he knew he was going to get the ball, get to the ball, and it was an exceptional challenge.
I guess the only thing, Mark, if it had been a player with a little bit more pace who could have just knocked it past him, he knew his opponent there.
Kurt is very strong, he's very quick, that burst of pace there, and his agility is superb as well, and you can see it there with that challenge.
3 minutes of added time remaining. Everton have been under pressure last 3 or 4 minutes. Long throw into their penalty area. Headed clear to the edge of the box. Tosun gives it to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson pulled back as he tried to get the pass away. It's blocked, but only half blocked. And here's Richarlison on the left-hand side. And all of a sudden, Millwall have to come back and try and defend in numbers. Richarlison floats his ball towards Walcott on the corner of the area. Nods it down to Tosun, who chests it down in turn and plays it to the right to Coleman. Cross into the area. Headed away by Cooper. Oh, not the best clearance here. Ends up at the feet of Tosun. Rolls it across the edge of the box to Gay. Gay towards Richarlison. Richarlison on the dribble across the face of the area. And Millwall get enough bodies in the way to clear. 2 minutes to play. Millwall 2, Everton 2. Gomez, good curling ball to the far post. Great header away from Wallace. Back to Sigurdsson, who'd love to hit one from here. Does hit one straight at Archer, who this time, makes the save.
Yeah, it was last-ditch defending by Millwall, wasn't it, at times there? But, it would have been such a shame if they'd conceded at this late stage of the game, because I think they really deserve to, at the very least, get a replay.
Into the last 2 minutes then. Millwall 2, Everton 2. The last time these two teams met was in the FA Cup, 2006, third round. 1-1 it finished here. Everton won the replay 1-0. At Goodison Park. It's 2-2 here at the moment. Replay in the offing, but Millwall continue to come forward. Throw in, Romeo into the penalty area. Morrison tries to chest it down. Garnegay clears it on the turn. Flicked on here by Tunnicliffe. Wide to Romeo. Digne in his way. Overhead clearance for Everton. Everton just can't get hold of the ball here. And one of these teams going to create a last chance. Morrison's fouled. Morrison is fouled out by the touchline on the right, about 35 yards from the Everton goal, but this plays right into Millwall's hands. With their strengths, the way they've scored their 2 goals this evening, you could quite easily see this ending up in the back of the net.
You could. I mean, you've got the big guys. All the big guys are up. Hutchinson, Cooper, Wallace, and of course Morrison in there as well. So they've pushed the men forward. Everton have got everyone back, and it's all about delivery now. Get that delivery right.
Needs quality delivery from Sean Williams. Into the mixer it goes. That is a good ball. Nodded down and into the bottom corner from Murray Wallace, who wins the FA Cup tie for Millwall. They came back from 1-0 down. They've come back from 2-1 down, and they've stunned Everton in the last minute of added time to continue this incredible FA Cup form at the Den. It's Millwall 3, Everton 2, and it's bedlam in southeast London.
Wow. Just said up the other end would have been a shame had Millwall conceded late on to lose the game. I have to say, the way the game's played, both teams no one deserves to lose today the way the game was played, but you've got to take your chances, and Millwall certainly took their chance.
A couple of Millwall fans over exuberantly have leaped the hoardings out onto the pitch. It's being dealt with very quickly indeed. That has only come from the stand opposite us, only 3 or 4 individuals. All the other Millwall fans have stayed in place, celebrated the winner in exactly the right fashion. The Millwall players just took off for the corner flag and ended up in a massive bundle. But Mark Schwarzer, you could see that coming. You knew what was going to happen. Everton have not defended that well. The ball dropped loose. There was about 3 Millwall players lining up to finish it.
You know what, they've done it all throughout the game tonight, Everton, giving away needless free kicks in dangerous positions. They conceded the first goal in the first half by giving a free kick away in a sloppy area. This was exactly the same. Bad area to give away a free kick needlessly. Player, no reason to do it. Delivery, it was all about the delivery. They got it right this time, and they made Everton pay.
Everton will complain bitterly about the second goal that they conceded this evening, but bottom line is the defending has not been good enough. They are going to be knocked out of the FA Cup here. It is going to be 3 wins in 12 games in all competitions, and there are more questions for Marco Silva to answer. Last knockings, Jordan Pickford smashes the ball long. Seamus Coleman is there, lobs it into the Millwall box. Everyone jumps for it. Hooked away by Sean Williams. Gomez lets the ball run past him. It's on the halfway line, and the Millwall fans here are urging Michael Oliver to blow the full-time whistle. Sigurdsson gets the ball 25 yards from goal. Has to make something happen for Everton now. Michael Oliver's ready to blow. He does blow. Millwall have done it again. Millwall of the Championship have beaten Premier League Everton despite trailing twice, and they've done it by scoring in the very last minute of the game. Murray Wallace with the goal. A few more Millwall fans come streaming out onto the pitch to celebrate. Everton will complain long into the night. Mark Schwarzer, that was some cup time.
Wow, that's the FA Cup, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing. The FA Cup, what it brings out of teams, how players lift themselves. You look at Millwall, the way they perform tonight, there's no way in the world are they a team that should be at the bottom end of the Championship. That's the beauty of the FA Cup. That's what it does to teams. Everton, on the other hand, you know what? They had the game on 2 occasions in their control. They gave away silly goals, needless goals, free kicks in dangerous areas. Yeah, you could argue and say, yeah, the goal could have been maybe not given the equaliser by Millwall. That changes the game, of course.
That's the big talking point tonight, but for the moment, Millwall and their fans are enjoying the celebrations. And get this, the last 5 Premier League teams that have been to the Den in the FA Cup have been beaten. Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, Leicester, and tonight it was Everton's turn. They led twice, but they couldn't see it through, and they are out of the FA Cup. Millwall through to the 5th round, Millwall 3, Everton 2.
Well, Ali and Mark, for those people who say the FA Cup doesn't matter any longer, all I'll say to you, Ali and Mark, and without even saying anything, Ali, is just put your microphone in the air, just have a listen to those scenes there at the Den. They are absolutely loving it. Listen to this.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Jason. And
that's what it means, Ali.
It does, and it's been like it all night. And actually, coming to this game, Mark, you knew the atmosphere was going to be like this because Millwall have this tradition in the FA Cup. They knew Everton were vulnerable. You knew the home fans were going to get into it, and they've actually played a massive part in it.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. I mean, you know what? The one thing you can't say about Everton is they didn't come here and not turn up, because they did. They actually went for it. They actually were on song. They tried. They just lacked that little bit of final touch, that defensive concentration, giving away silly free kicks, conceding bad goals. But they gave it a go. They had the right mindset. They just didn't get the result. Millwall, excellent.
Absolutely brilliant scenes there in the Millwall home end as well. The shirts are off on Coldblow Lane. They're loving it, absolutely loving it. Mark, just before you leave us, just want to give you a flavour of what some of our listeners are saying on social media tonight. Paul says, absolute disgrace. Get VAR in now. It needs to come now, not next year. That Millwall equaliser was handball. Shouldn't count. Absolute sham. Richard says, blatant handball tonight. What do you make of those, Mark?
Well, listen, you know what? We couldn't see it. My first initial reaction was, yes, it looked like it, but we're on the other side of the halfway line, just about 15-20 metres up the other end. So it's so hard to see it. There was no video replay, or very few. We couldn't see it from our angle. But I agree. You know what? The club's voted in the Premier League, for example, not to have it in the Premier League this season. And it's coming back to haunt people. It should be now. I agree.
Jason, just 2 things. Have you seen it? Was it definitely handball?
Well, you know what? I've sat with many pundits, Mark included, on television and in radio studios, and the thing they tell me, Ali, is that it wasn't deliberate. The ball pops up onto the shoulder. Now, when I started watching football, started getting involved in football, Ali and Mark, if the ball hit your arm in the opposing penalty box, it was either a penalty or no goal. But the pundits tell me, and ex-professionals tell me, that what I've just seen in front of me this evening is not handball, Ali.
I was in a referees meeting at the start of this week. We were actually talking about VAR. It was a UEFA conference because it's coming into the Champions League for the knockout stages. And we got into this very discussion about handball and the Willy Bolly goal against Manchester City earlier this season. And Roberto Rossetti, who ran the conference, former referee, kind of agreed with us and agreed with what you're saying, Jason, that you shouldn't really, even if it's accidental, you shouldn't be able to score a goal with your hand. I don't think. Personally, I agree with you. I'd like to see that again. And I think the big thing to discuss, and maybe we'll get calls on it tomorrow night on 606, is when you're using VAR in some games in a competition and not in others, because Everton can quite rightly say, well, if we'd been playing in a game where VAR was, then we wouldn't have lost this cup tie. You know, it's there for some and it's not for others. That doesn't seem satisfactory.
Thank you very much indeed. Really enjoyed your commentary this evening. Alistair Bruce Ball and Mark Schwarzer, and Ali is back with 606 tomorrow evening. Just to remind you as well that the Professional Game Match Officials Limited selected 6 ties in the FA Cup 4th round using VAR. In case you're wondering, thinking to yourself, well, hang on a second, isn't this match live on the BBC this evening? Therefore, why is there no VAR? And the matches were Arsenal, Manchester United last night, Manchester City, Burnley today, Brighton Hove Albion, West Bromwich Albion today, Newcastle United, Watford today, and tomorrow, Crystal Palace, Spurs, and Chelsea against Sheffield Wednesday. Those were the 6 ties that the Professional Game Match Officials Limited decided to have VAR for, but as Ali quite rightly says, they probably needed it tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow on 5 Live, the men's final at the Australian Open. Rafa Nadal taking on Novak Djokovic. Commentary on 5 Live from 8:30. Highlights 2:20 on BBC One. So let's recap what has been a terrific day in the FA Cup. Accrington 0, Derby 1, Brighton 0, West Brom 0, Doncaster 2, Oldham 1, Manchester City 5, Burnley 0, Middlesbrough 1, Newport 1, Newcastle 0, Watford 2, Portsmouth 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Shrewsbury 2, Wolves 2, and Swansea City 4, Gillingham 1. Don't forget highlights of the FA Cup tonight with Gabby Logan on BBC One tonight, 10:20. Don't miss Kevin De Bruyne's stunner for Manchester City. And it's full-time in League 2. Cracking game there too at Gig Lane. Bury 3, Lincoln 3. Let's get the latest on the cricket. Jonathan Agnew.
England on the threshold of a humiliating defeat here. The last pair are together, 237 for 9 with Curran and Addison just staving off the inevitable. Somehow, I'm not being unkind, but Roston Chase is only a very part-time, limited off-spinner. He's taken 7 wickets so far, the best figures ever by a West Indian spinner against England in the West Indies. Highest score, Burns 84, Moeen Ali bagged a pair. It's been a very abject performance all round.
Indeed. Jonathan, thank you very much indeed. The rest of the day's sports news. Celtic have moved 3 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership after winning 3-0 at home to Hamilton. Second place Kilmarnock drew 0-0 with Aberdeen, who move above Rangers into 3rd. Meanwhile, Hibs have confirmed Eddie May and Grant Murray will take charge of their game with St Mirren tomorrow following Neil Lennon's suspension. In the Pro 14, Edinburgh conceded 2 late tries to lose 25-21 to Southern Kings. Elsewhere, Munster edged out the Dragons 8-7. This morning, Naomi Osaka beat Petra Kvitova in 3 sets to win the Australian Open final, becoming the new world number 1. Osaka has now won back-to-back Grand Slams. Tomorrow morning, don't forget the men's final, live here on 5 Live from 8:30. Novak Djokovic aiming for a record 7th men's Melbourne title. His opponent, Rafa Nadal, can become the first man in the Open era to win all the Grand Slams at least twice. And in racing, Bryony Frost rode Frodon to a 4th victory at Cheltenham in the Cotswold Chase on Festival Trials Day by 3/4 of a length. Elsewhere, Paisley Park became the new favourite for the Stayers Hurdle after securing victory in the Cleve Hurdle. 7:35, this is BBC Radio 5 Live. Let's get the latest news with Stuart Clarkson.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Britain and other European countries say they'll follow the US in recognising Venezuela's opposition leader as acting president if an election isn't called there within 8 days. Western nations and Russia clashed at a UN meeting earlier over the issue. Almost 50 people have now been rescued in Brazil from the sludge that engulfed a mine after a dam collapsed yesterday. Officials say the chances of finding more survivors are slim. Around 300 people are still missing. Scotland's Brexit Secretary Mike Russell has accused Theresa May of reckless brinkmanship over her refusal to rule out leaving the EU without a deal in just over 2 months' time. Speaking in Edinburgh at a rally for another EU referendum, he urged the Prime Minister to pause the Brexit process and have another public vote. And healthy people in England may soon be